Hello, everybody, and welcome to unMadeGaming. It is Wednesday, and you saw nothing. We're back for Blades in the Dark 6 and 20, Season 3, the final season, the final countdown, if you will. And we are here for Episode 3, where we're going to do some stuff. We'll find out. So let's go around, introduce our cast and crew here, starting with the wonderfully deranged... in character and out of character. Slade from Quick Dice Gaming. Slade, who are you? What are you doing here? And what personality will you be playing today?
So hello, Slade from Quick Dice Gaming, returning as Raymond. Sanity level 40%. And climbing.
That's only Cthulhu, guys.
I mean, it could be this.
Okay.
Nope.
Bonkers percent and climbing.
Everybody is particularly crazy, let's just be honest.
But he's a new level. He's a new low.
Yeah. It's not like I've killed it. Oh, never mind.
Yeah. It's not like you're being haunted by your dead parents. I mean, who is it? Shit. Speaking of being haunted by the past, OC, Miss Ginger Ninja, who are you? What are you doing here? And who are you playing tonight?
I am Xmas Ginger Ninja. I run a gaming channel, and I'll also be around this Saturday for the one of them. I don't remember what time, but it's a thing.
For one.
But I'm going to be playing OC today, who has a girlfriend, kind of like that one song, Genie in a Bottle. She's working on getting her fixed, so We'll see.
I hear that if you have a genie in a bottle, you just need to rub her the right way, baby.
I mean, I used to, and she went into the bottle willingly, so apparently I was doing something wrong.
Yeah. Using the two-finger. Anyway, speaking of... I don't know how to segue that one. Speaking of probably using your fingers, Greg, who are you? What are you doing here? And who are you playing today?
I was going to stay, but I think I'm going to leave now.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Let's go get a drink.
Have a good night, man.
Let's get out of here, Johnny. Grimjack21502 on Twitch and Twitter, and I'm here to play the Lurk Steam. He thinks he's a god. He's got a tower full of kids. He's teaching them to kill. That about sums it up, man.
It does.
World domination.
So Steam has taken over the role of Johnny, who has a bunch of kids who he taught to kill here in this game. So Johnny, who are you? What are you doing here? And what are we doing today?
I'm Johnny. I'm the GM for 6 and 20. This crazy thing that we do every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. What am I doing here? I just follow the lead, guys. I just put things in your place, and you guys just go, fuck it, and flip the table.
Yeah, we do.
Where we're going today, I actually have no freaking clue. Because I'm just trying to find my notes to give a recap, and I can't find my notes. So somebody want to do a quick recap for me while I find my notes, guys?
Greg, can you do it in a cool voice?
No, but I can segue over to you.
Perfect.
Back to you in the studio, Johnny.
Previously on 6 and 20. Previously on 6 and 20. We met back up after all kinds of shenaniganry. After Miss Ginger Ninja OC was touched by an elderly woman, infer what you will. We then discussed with the unconscious Bowerstone that we needed to find the fourth book that was held onto by a drug-dealing savage named Marik. We found him, located his body, stole his body, killed some people, fought some other people, stole the book, absconded with the man, latched him to a Judas cross.
Framed Mr. Wolf.
Framed Mr. Wolf. Beat him mercilessly, read said book, tore pages out of it, and combined them with other torn pages. And that failed. Horribly. However, we're back and trying to figure out what the fuck that means. Who this genie bottle is.
If I remember correctly.
There was a message. The message said, scroll, 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 scroll. The message says, not again. That was it.
That's right.
Nailed it. Guys, I'm pro recaps.
That was actually pretty amazing because I remembered everything just at the last second as you were. I found my notes and you were doing just a good job. I just didn't want to interrupt.
That's fair.
So you did phenomenal. Raymond is still outside. Isn't that correct?
He is because he can't get in.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, he can't get in.
He's the new Steam.
I'd like to think it's raining too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this
Well, it's
like when he
always-
had the grappling hook and he was just waiting outside at the wrong building?
Yep. This is the alleyway all over again.
But he's actually like at the window of the church, all by myself, just in the
Which
glass
is
window.
completed. Which is completed
Yeah,
by
it's-
now.
Is the
because
church
it's-
completed by now?
Are,
Yeah,
are you
it's-
having fun?
Can I come in? Is this...
I remember when we used to have fun together.
No, Mom! I want to play with my friends today! Oh, man. That's good stuff. Yeah, so he is
Okay.
trapped outside because he can't get in, which is unfortunate for him and only him. And we're inside with all 4 books ready to go. The last pages torn out of the 4 books. They're touching tips, and we're touching tips. And before we jump in officially, just to cut off Johnny one more time, guys, if you want to interact with today's show, there are a myriad of ways you can do that. If you look down on the bottom of the screen, you can see the followers, subscribers, and retweets. Every time we hit any of those goals, the characters get a bonus on screen. You can also check the donation section down below for all kinds of cool things you want to donate for, or type !BITD in chat and find an entire document with a bevy of things you can donate for. Johnny, your turn.
Well, so there were. Are you sure?
Yeah, you go.
Nobody else wants to interrupt. Nobody else wants to insert themselves.
Oh, I would like to insert myself, but that's a different stream, different time.
Yeah, that's livejasmine.com.
Slash unMadeGaming.
Well then, yeah. Anyways, so along with assembling that those 4 last pages that united in essentially what you saw was a much larger diagram, which happens to be some sort of ritual text. There were 2 things that caught your eye after trying to attune and trying to identify what was going on. The first was the message that appeared across the top of the document, and that would be the first, the upper right corner and the upper left corner of the document. This thing just, the text changed, but it was in the lower left-hand corner of this document that you noticed a very interesting symbol.
It was the symbol of the Eruvian princes.
It was the symbol of the 4 Eruvian princes. Now, there are symbols that represent each of them individually, but this was a symbol that actually represents all 4 of them. And so when you receive this message and it fades, and you notice this in the document, the text of the text and the symbols on the document, for the first time, whether you're attuned or not, begin to shift from being lit and being invisible to becoming completely visible in red ink. That hello there, in red ink on the pages, and it is as if the spectral energy and demonic energy that was associated with it have vanished.
Which ink disappeared? All of it?
So it was all written in red ink, right? The brilliant red ink of demon blood.
Yes.
All of that solidified and no longer is illuminated from like an electroluminescence kind of a thing, right? It all just solid, went solid on the pages themselves, as if the spectral energy and the demonic energy associated with this document, these 4 pieces put together, had just sort of either settled or been removed. And so now all you see you see the diagrams on the page, but they are all in red ink.
And we were still unable to infer what these diagrams meant?
You recognize some symbols based on the amount of research that you've done previously and the experiences that you've had. You would have seen documentation or things that would have come across Raymond Bowerstone's table as alderman would be documentation on where the Leviathan had beached itself in Ankyart Park, and that there were a series of poles set up in a ritual circle fashion. You recognize something that resembles that as part of the diagram of the document.
So, well, I guess he's not here, so he doesn't recognize shit. He's outside. He's outside.
Well, so I think Bowerstone would have shared some of that with you, at least to kind of keep Nyx informed.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough. As far as any alderman business papers that come along.
So my question, Johnny, is that sorry, good.
No, you're good.
Is that a specific to this location symbol, or is that like a universal symbol for Spirit Well?
No, it's not a spirit well. It is not a universal symbol of any kind, but
Okay.
it is a diagrammed element. And what you see is the diagram that you saw that represented what was at Oncout Park was a series of poles representing some sort of circle. In the document itself, you see that same circle in that same configuration, and there are ley lines between those points, crisscrossing like in a lattice.
Yeah, he kind of looks to everyone and says, "What do you make of this?" He looks to OC and to Steve.
Johnny, I mean, I know that we attuned before, but I'm not sure we were doing like a specific. I'm not sure what this would call for, to see if I can glean anything from this particular symbol and the ley lines, to see if I can get any type of additional information to see what type of ritual this would be.
So let's take a step back and talk a little bit about how Steam found the group. You were following up, cleaning up after some of their mistakes prior to joining the group, but your primary interest was finding these books. What was the intent, or is there? I mean, you talked a little bit about how it's all about the ascension and godhood, right? But was there more to it than that? Was there more research that went into you ultimately selecting as Steam to go after these books?
Well, I mean, to meta this, and it's not really been revealed narratively, the cult that was born or built up around Steam he was to be raised to godhood, to accept as one of the lost and forgotten god, because he was believed to be at war with the demons that were currently keeping the world dark. And whether that's correct or not, I mean, Steam believes it. And then he believed that the books themselves held the answers for, one, directing him in his ascension, and two, the destruction of demons. And that's what he was led to believe, and that's what he still believes as being possibly included in the books.
So, okay. So that's okay. I'm glad that you revealed some of that openly so that we can have a little bit more discussion about it. But ultimately, that information was given to you by somebody, correct?
Right.
Did you follow up? Did Steam, for lack of a better way of describing it, hit the books?
Yeah, because that was how he was able to get their trail initially, because of the way back in before season 1, episode 1, when the book was the center of everything. That was the tag that fanned the scent into Duskfall, that alerted him that one of the books was in play. And that's when he kind of revealed himself from the shadows and started his quest to find the Shroud.
Okay. So, yes, the symbol then is vaguely familiar to you. How much you actually know depends on, not on a tune, but necessarily on your book knowledge.
Okay, so would that be like
So that's going to be almost like a study or a survey, if you can come up with a good reason for survey. Right? I mean, it's let me come at this from a different tactic. The question that you're asking for is has Steam ever encountered this before? The answer is yes. The question is where he would have encountered this for, and it would have been in a situation more of in a research capacity rather than a practical experience kind of a situation.
So we have to figure out a role to see if he can remember.
No, I guess what I'm looking for is more of a narrative description about how those elements would have happened in Steam's life prior to him joining the Shroud, so that we can build the narrative there. And maybe it's because I'm going to step away from the idea of making it a role, given that you really would at some point either have notes or remember this. So, I mean, what did Steam do when he was doing research? Was he just combing the libraries? Was he pilfering from private collections? What was that activity that he was doing that really kind of facilitated that research.
Right. The majority of the hunt would have started and probably ended or included a large amount of time in Charter Hall. Just even finding anything that, a scrap of information, some type of note or whatnot that led him to these 4 books that at the time, I believe that we established he only knew of 3. He
Right.
didn't even know that there was a 4th one. And that it was just his belief that these books, he had no idea what was actually in them because no one that had taught him about the significance or importance of these books actually had ever possessed them or ever read them. And if they had, it was a generational thing. Maybe 5 generations back, someone got a hold of one of these books and has a vague idea of what was in it. And maybe that was passed down by word of mouth, becoming almost a gospel in the cult that was the one that formed up around Steam. So I'm not sure how much knowledge he would have that was innately included in the books. He wouldn't know anything more than just their presence or just their existence. So if it's I was thinking more of it was a ritual that he would have come across in his search. But if it's a ritual that's solely included in the books, he wouldn't know it.
He would recognize some symbols, though. And so based on what you just described to me, what makes a lot of sense is that at some point you were in the Archive of Echoes, uninvited, but you were able to get in, do your thing, and get out. And you recognize the symbol as being something that you saw in a library book in the Archive of Echoes. However, you can't remember the full context of it. Though, if given the opportunity, I'm sure that you could find that book again.
That sounds like a downtime action or a free time action. Or something.
That sounds like a score.
Okay.
Scores.
Who does those?
Not like you guys
anymore?
like to do those or anything, right?
No. Oh,
I like to do the
God.
big kind.
Really? Unlocking the secret of this ritual is not a big score?
Finding a book, though. We're boiling it down to brass
Do you know
tacks.
do you know what's currently happening in the Archive of Echoes?
I do.
I saw a little bit, yeah.
So I don't know. It seems like there might be a perfect distraction going on there
I
right now.
literally said to Mike, I was like, man, I wish we weren't in like some kind of weird time lock. It'd be funny for Nix to have a reason to go back down there. Well, there we go. Actually, Johnny, would Nix know? So Nix has spoken to like the curator, the
You've
librarian,
spoken to Lord Kindred, and you've spoken to his 2 spirits that hang out over his shoulders.
and the librarian, the woman who sits at the top, like the custodian.
Right, she's essentially the what did I call her last?
I don't remember what you called it last time. Has he encountered other people that work there? Would he at least have like a vague knowledge of people that work there?
Anybody else who's so this got set up a little bit last night, but yes, you would know that anybody else who is down there is actually just a member of the faculty, or at least anybody that you were aware of that would be down there would be a member of the faculty of Charter Hall that would have access.
Okay. So that's the public side then.
That's correct.
Okay. So he also hasn't been let into the secret library.
So that you know of, right?
Okay.
You've been beyond the first level, right?
Yes. Okay. So we could easily get Steam into the first level, but getting past that is the issue. Okay.
Well, if I got in before, I can get in again. It's just depending upon how long it's going to take me to find this book.
Like, so all of the faculty that was established last night, all faculty members of Charter Hall can get to the first level. It's like a pseudo public library, but there's like a secret underneath that would so that if your book, it depends where your book is.
Would you call it the Upside Down?
I wouldn't, Johnny. I sure as fuck wouldn't. You know? God damn it.
Anyways, go on.
So my question is, as far as people that work in Charter Hall, like Nix is not an astute person. He's not a studious person, rather. Sorry. What fields of study are there? Like, we have Crazy McCrazy Pants over here, who's being possessed by his parents. We have a Crazy McCrazy Bottle locked up in a crazy bottle, and then Steam wants a book. So the book is the easiest of the 3 to find. Are there people, or would Nix believe there are people to talk to about the other 2? Like
In the Archive of Echoes?
or at least
at
in the
Charter Hall?
faculty, Charter Hall, any of the above.
Okay, so let me go back through and talk about Charter Hall University just for a second, right? I mean, because this is kind of an important element of what you guys are dealing with right now.
Can I interject something real quick?
No.
Please go ahead.
Would Nicholas Pendrin be able to do all three for us?
Ironically, I would think so.
Let's go get him.
OC would
Score!
want to find him anyway because she knows him.
But she doesn't know his last whereabouts unless Nyx told her.
Well, if Nyx comes to her and says, "Hey, you want to go find that dude that you asked to help you," and he was like all weird and then disappeared, because I did hear back from him.
You did hear back from him.
He was short with me and not himself. So if Nyx were to say, "Hey, he's lost his goddamn marbles and he's out there," she would be like, "Maybe he can help with Nye, and also I know that dude."
Okay. So
let me really quickly eliminate what's going on at Charter Hall University, just so you guys have an awareness of it, because there is a difference between that and the military academy, the Ghost Academy over in White Crown.
Yep.
Charter Hall is responsible primarily for 4 subjects: a study of alchemy, the study of justice, the study of the trade school, that is the Spark Rights, and unnatural philosophy, which legitimately is just everything to do with the Archive of Echoes.
Gotcha. Okay. And that's all pretty much just generic basic knowledge, right? Like everyone kind of has an idea of what that is.
Unnatural philosophy.
No, I mean everyone knows that those are like the 4 schools.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Sorry.
That would be the most vague, and that would be that unnatural philosophy would be the one that would be considered the most
Other.
vague.
Yeah.
Yeah, a vague of those 4 concepts that you would be looking at there.
Okay. So does Steam mention anything about this symbol? Knowing about a book?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, he'd bring it up and say that, he saw it somewhere in the library, but he wouldn't, because of what we've established here, he wouldn't remember exactly where it was or what book it was in, but that he has seen it before in his research and study.
So Nyx will kind of look back and forth between Steam and OC, and reaching inside of his jacket, he says, ironically, I believe I have something for this. And he pulls out a piece of paper and places it down next to the books, in between the books and the 4 pages, and says, I received a letter from a professor at Charter Hall, the woman who had this book, and he points to the Codex Machina, your friend's co-worker and research assistant, and he motions towards OC. Apparently, she's willing to work with me at least, and was the last person to see your friend Nicholas alive, before he went out into the Lost District.
Did she say why he went into the Lost District?
She did not. I assume it was for his research, which apparently is converting ghosts into hulls.
She perks up at that a little bit.
I've also spoken to his mother and his former professor. Oh, and his father.
Mother?
Yes, well, she is deceased, of course.
Interesting.
And he looks like side-eye Steam. Taikarosi.
Yes?
No, she is Taikarosi.
His mother.
The deceased one.
Yeah, well, I'd assume she was a ghost when I spoke to her. I would imagine she wasn't anything else.
Is he?
The Nicholas?
The father.
No, he's quite alive. Crazy.
Is he?
At least
Is
as
he
crazy as-
Taikarosi?
Thank you, Steam.
Oh, I don't know.
There were no tells?
They were not. He is pretty deranged at the moment. It seems he is pestered constantly by ghosts. But they seem to both want Nicholas.
Then we'll go find him. Maybe he can help my friend. And she looks to wherever Bowerstone is outside, that general direction, and maybe our friend as well.
Your friend says this assistant researcher says that she was the last one to see Pendrin alive.
Yes, if my correct assumptions, OC, you sent him a letter several weeks ago. She says she saw him but 3. He hasn't been responding to you for quite a long time. His father hasn't seen him in even more time than that.
He responded to me almost immediately.
But when?
When was it? I don't know how many weeks it's been, Johnny.
It's been at least 4 weeks.
4 weeks, but he was not himself even then. He would never have been so standoffish in his message, even if he could not help or would not help.
Yeah, well, Needle happened to be along with the people who stole that book, and it appears as though this woman, Beverly Chandler, professor, was researching hulls. She had several of her own inside the house. They attacked my friend, as well as this Mr. Wolf character.
She grimaces when you say that.
Beverly is aware that Mr. Wolf, who I believe is a professor at Charter Hall, was the one who absconded with her book. She'll deal with it her own way. But this was a few weeks prior to that letter, and the last time she saw him was 3 weeks ago, which means 1 week post receiving your response. His father has seen him even longer than that.
Is there someone we could speak to about what to expect and if our friend is still there?
Who's our friend?
Caius. Wasn't he out there last time we saw him? And you broke your deal with him?
I didn't break anything.
Well, yeah, you didn't. You didn't answer him.
You didn't get his spirit mask.
I just didn't do what he said.
You didn't do his job.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll
failed that
I'll
quest.
get fired. I'll
Ignored
collect
that
unemployment.
that quest giver.
What have we heard that he's got shot? Is that a thing that we heard? Didn't?
Yeah, we did.
I know about that.
Okay, I just want to make sure someone knew.
Did
about
you
it.
tell us?
I wasn't sure.
Did you share that information?
I shared most of it. Yes,
Did you share the part of him getting shot? At
Yes.
least?
Yes.
Secrets in this group.
It's so good.
I am a modern man.
Can we fix my goddamn girlfriend?
Let's start a
She wants-
library. Oh, sorry. Let us start a library. The Library of Echoes. Perhaps if OC is there, the Library of Shouts. Yeah, so that's what he kind of motions towards Steam when you say, "Is our friend still out there?"
Steam will also say that if Chandler was the last one to see him, perhaps he deliberately left a trail, just not one in the real world. 3 weeks is a long time, but perhaps there's a residual, some echo, some loop that we can use to track him.
Yes, you appear to be quite skilled at that.
Can I help in any way?
Of course.
Nick says with the utmost sarcasm.
Sarcasm is duly noted, as I stand here before you talking to you, having found you the very same way that I'm...
OC's offering her help in any way possible because she thinks it'll lead to helping Nye and, weird dude outside talking to himself probably.
Yeah, he is a weird dude outside. So, first things first, talk to Professor
Chandler.
Well then. I suppose we should go get Raymond.
To the mystery machine.
Listen, if we ever do kill Chaos, I want those fucking goats and carriage. That thing is dope.
The screen swirls and we show back up at our carriage.
With Raymond outside, kind of
outside the carriage, still looking in. We didn't let him in. He's right on the outside.
I'm afraid this carriage is holy ground. It's
Guys.
recently
Okay.
consecrated.
So, is finding Beverly Chandler a score, or is it information gathering?
It depends on if she's hiding. I mean, if
Don't-
she's not hiding, we can find her.
Don't we know where she is?
I know her last location and where her house is.
Can we go just check there as an information finding before we do a score of going to talk to her? Would that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's information gathering because in her correspondence she said that she is willing to work with Nyx. So I don't think we're coercing her into doing anything more than she's already offered to. And I already know where she is, so we're not like tracking her down. So I think this would be information gathering at this point.
Okay, so depending upon the level of information you want, we can either RP it or this can just be a quick exchange of information. That way we don't get caught up too terribly much because it still sounds like there's a shit ton of things that you guys want to try to do tonight. So what is that conversation going to look like?
Does anyone have any specifics in this conversation that we should poke at?
Is this where you last saw him? Okay, shut up. And then he's going to attune and see if he can see a loop or something.
Okay, shut up. Now.
Oh, so he's going to attune behind him.
Well, so wait a minute. Time out. That implies that you're looking at a specific location. What location are you looking at?
As soon as he would, the meeting with Chandler would consist of where was the last place you saw Penderin? Was it here? And if she says yes, if she says it wasn't here, it was at my house, then we go to her house. And as soon as we get there, he's going to go through the process of checking the echoes, seeing if there's a loop. Because if Penderin was, depending upon on what type of mind he was in, Penderin might have left a breadcrumb. If he thought, I'm getting in some dangerous shit here, maybe I should, deliberately generate a loop or deliberately do something with a strong, like maybe he walks outside and cuts himself or something, causing like a kind of a flare or something like that. I don't know. I'm just, spitballing, but there might be a way to trail him from there.
Right. I get all of that. But as Mike implied, there's a location where she is and there's a location that's her house. I needed to know which place you were going for.
First?
What time of day? Well, actually, you know what? Whatever the after hours school is,
Yes.
After that point in time, we'd go to the house.
You'd go to the house. Okay. So I'm sorry. I'm trying to reconcile all of what Steve just said into all of that because I have to be honest. That just pulled away a lot of my ability to kind of to navigate this. So that we're going to treat this as a straight up conversation in an information role kind of perspective.
Okay.
So, Nyx, in talking to her, what questions are you asking, and then roll something for me.
Okay, let me just pull up my sheet real quick. I would assume I would be rolling sway at this point, or
my assumption as well. Although this could also be considered consort, given the fact that you have a pre-established relationship.
Okay,
even if Finn, it's still a pre-established relationship.
Okay, then we can go with that.
Right.
Then we'll go with
you
that.
You have interests.
Cool.
So
yeah. So first things first, he would introduce himself and his companions. After, of course, explaining that Bowerstone needs to be on his best behavior because he's a loon. But yeah, he would.
Wait a minute. Is Bowerstone still walking around as the bomb, or is he walking around as Lord Bowerstone, Alderman of Crowsfoot?
Yeah, let's be the alderman. Yeah.
I don't know which one's worse at this point.
Alderman Bowerstone.
I also don't know which one's worse.
Okay, so the three of you are able to make it there easily. Alderman Bowerstone continues to get stalked because he's not been seen in a couple of days in Charter Hall, and he is being requested to make meetings as much as possible. There are meetings coming up. There's issues at hand. We still need to deal with the resource gathering. So the rest of you are able to kind of slip that, but Alderman Bowerstone keeps getting caught up. Like, they keep pulling him away and trying to have a private conversation with him because he hasn't been seen for 2 days.
Bowerstone, do you want me to go and protect you, just in case?
No, you guys go. I'm going to have some fun.
She's going to, without him knowing, send 2 or 3 soldiers with him to tail him.
Stonecloaks?
Oh, yeah.
Stonecloaks are only in Crowsfoot. You're in Charter Hall.
They can't accompany him?
You're going directly from Eden to Charter Hall. Are you going to make the call to have Stonecloaks around him at all times when he's in?
Okay.
You know what? I'll have one of my girls dress a little bit nicer and follow him.
Okay. I just want to be clear because you guys.
I just want someone to watch him.
Right. You guys have established some rules around some preconceptions about the Stonecloaks. Right. They're primarily the law enforcement in addition to the Blue Coats in Crowsfoot at this point.
Yep.
Their secondary job is to protect the aldermen, but that's also in Crowsfoot. So, okay. All right. So Raymond's going to go off and have to deal with some of these things. You've got a girl watching him.
Yep.
So what are the questions that you're asking for with Beverly Chandler?
Yeah, so introductions, blah, blah, blah. Shit. Yeah, so he introduces everybody. Steam, are you there or are you there?
No, I'll be. Steam will be visible because
Okay.
she might have the ability to glean me, which would be rude.
Yeah, so he explains, these are my companions. We are looking for your research partner, Nicholas. This woman here was a friend of his a few years prior, or a few months prior. I forget how long that was, but some years prior. And after speaking to his father, I am trying to ascertain his whereabouts. You said you saw him 3 weeks ago here? And he motions to her house.
She nods yes.
And you say that he was talking about the Lost District.
She nods again, yes.
Now, I'm not unfamiliar with venturing out there myself, but do you know what purpose it would have served for him to go to the Lost District? I'd like to know what I'm getting myself into before I just wander outside the barrier.
She says, just a second. And she steps inside, closes the door. You are stuck on the street for a moment, and you get a sense that she is actually downstairs. You can hear a little bit of like shuffling and moving of things through a window that implies that there is a basement. And eventually she comes back to the door after a couple of minutes, and she hands you a note. And on the note is KS's symbol.
Well, that is a trifle inconvenient. I believe he is dead. This man here.
I haven't seen him since.
Also inconvenient. Well, does this have to do with your research?
Not that I'm aware of. What is this?
It's difficult to explain. It belongs to a man of great power. He wields this symbol. But I believe he is no more at this time.
Did that have something to do with the Leviathan? And the 3 strikes of lightning that we saw in the sky?
No.
Well, if there's nothing else then. And she begins to close the door.
Miss Chandler, your research here into hulls, important work? More than just your typical hull, I assume. Larger? More agile?
Among other things.
Are you safe here? It was broken into once. You were burgled, I believe. I can offer you my assistance, protection.
She pokes her head out and she looks up. And if you follow her gaze, you can see that there is quite an articulate looking, vaguely humanoid hull hanging above her doorstep. And if the rest of you follow his gaze, you can see that this thing is intimidating as hell because it has blades on it.
What if I were to offer you a chance to get your hands back on that book that was stolen?
At that, she looks uncomfortable. And she reaches behind her as she says, "How do you know about that?"
Well, how else would I know?
And she pulls a blade.
Well, that's not necessary. There are several other blades. You can see that one there. And she motions towards OC's.
As you see a hulking thing move into place behind her.
Now, this isn't a threat, my lady. I'm offering you a chance.
How do you know about that book?
OC is going to step forward. I had one of the books before I came to this gentleman, and we heard that it was stolen.
Gentlemen.
We found out who took it, and we are tracking its whereabouts to get it back. We will have it soon. Would you like the book back? And we can talk. I have one of the other books.
She looks you over, taking in the three of you. Bring it back. There is no more discussion until then. And she slams the door.
This bitch.
Well, that was rude.
Prepare one of those holes for yourself.
The locks begin to go into place, and your skin begins to buzz and crawl a little bit as you can feel this energy field begin to emanate from the building itself. And anybody who's had a previous experience of being incredibly close to a personal lightning barrier, you just felt it go up around her house.
Which would be everyone but Nyx.
Yeah, OC's gonna look around and say, we don't need her. We'll find Pendrin.
Well, we know where he went if he received this from Chaos. I'm sure Chaos told him to go to the same place that he told us. Can I make an attunement roll with OC's help and Nyx, if he will aid me, to see if we can't find a loop?
What if we go towards where the boats are and do that? Because it'll be a little bit, not much fresher, but we know at least that he probably left from there because that's how we were taken across and that's how he would have told, you know what I mean? And we wouldn't be getting too close to him.
So the whole loop thing, let me ask you this question. Are you expecting to find Pendrin, or are you expecting to find a clue that he would have left in the form of some sort of spirit left in a loop?
Yeah, either or. The same way that he used the loops and the spirits and the echoes to track Nyx and the Shroud in season 1 when he was supposedly going after him. The same way, the same methodology that he used. His assumption is if Pendrin knew or had any inkling that this chaos was something more than what he was leading on, which if he was intelligent at all, he had to have.
Right.
He was going out into the Lost District by himself. He had to have left some type of, hey, this is where I am. You know, hey, help me if I get, stuck out here or something like that. Or he didn't. Maybe he was too crazy to do that. My thing is, if he can find anything, any like residual part of Pendrin thought to leave some type of breadcrumb, or he didn't think enough about not leaving a breadcrumb. My only thing is, whenever Steam was tracking the Shroud, he was doing it relatively quickly or relatively recently after they had been in a specific site. It had been like 72 hours was like the longest he'd gone. This is at least 3 weeks. Right. So the chances of him being able to sift through all that are going to be tough.
Right. So why don't you guys go ahead and roll in a tune, and I'll give you information about both places. We'll talk about Beverly Chandler's residence in Charter Hall, and then subsequently the warehouse and the boats in Brightstone.
So I will take a stress to assist.
Should I roll? I have 2. Should I roll separately, or should I just give you an assist?
He's got what, 3 or 4?
I have 4.
I would give him the assist as well.
Okay. Sorry, okay.
Because that would build a pool of about 6 if both you and Nyx are supporting him.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Right. Risky, controlled, desperate.
I'm going to say that it's controlled, given the fact that in both places, I think that you would feel at least comfortable, if not in control, because there's not anything obvious going on. You wouldn't. This would really be you taking your time to to investigate this, right? So it's not that at all. As for effect, it's a mixed bag in my head. There's a couple things that can come up. So why don't we go with standard? Unless you have any, unless you want to have any, or you want to add anything narratively to how you're going about this.
If it were fresher, I'd say that it could possibly be great, but because of the extent of time, I'd say standard's the best way to go about it, because the roll will tell whether or not what I get. So
okay, fair enough. And then you'll get 2 dice, one from Nyx and one from OC. Do you want to push yourself and take a devil's bargain?
No.
Okay.
Ka-chow!
Man, I hope you get to see how he enters the ghost field.
Who, Penderin? Yeah, that was pretty damn cool.
No one's done it like that yet.
Yeah, it was pretty fucking amazing. Okay, so with a 6, you pick up a lot of echoes of spirits doing interesting things, and it's hard for you at first around Beverly Chandler's house because this neighborhood is one of the more affluent neighborhoods in Charter Hall. It was also where the first lightning barrier was stationed, and so you're getting a multitude of information. But you know, being Steam and in Steam fashion, being methodical and being able to basically kind of weed them out until you can focus in. You don't get a lot of information directly from the area around you. However, you do pick up a trail that seems unusual to you, but it's definitely stale. It's very faint. It's almost a path that is walked back and forth, as if, you know, a groove has been worn in the fabric of the ghost field. So you can see it, and it is heading towards Brightstone.
Same general direction of the KS docks of the.
Yes, the KS building, the warehouse, and the docks, and you were able to follow it all the way there. And so I'll describe to you guys what you find when you get to that warehouse. First, in essentially normal space, and then I will describe it in the ghost field.
Can we stop and get Bowerstone?
No, just leave him.
Do you want? I mean, so
we're going right by it. I mean,
we can cut to what's going on with Bowerstone while this is all going on.
If you want.
So we're going to cut to Bowerstone. So repeatedly, Raymond is being asked to step in to make decisions, given that he was, quote unquote, the savior of Doskval and in doing all of that coordination, right? So he's got this image to now live up to a little bit, and it's everybody is concerned because you were gone for 48 hours. So you're getting repeated requests, and on one level, it's very normal. It's all very expected, especially for somebody who is a very prominent political public figure now. However, on another level, it's itching at the back of your brain because they're so irritating because of the mental state that you're in and how you're feeling. And so there is this tension, and as you are trying to control yourself, it's always there at the back of your head, like it's always going on. And by the time that you see Nyx and Steam and OC again coming back in a general direction towards you, you're irritated as fuck. Like it's just you're on serious edge. And anybody that knows Raymond Bowerstone more than just as the political figure, who knows him personally for any given time, and knows your state, is going to see that there's obviously something off about you. So,
fun times.
How are you handling this?
Poorly.
So everyone's approaching. He basically grabs the shoulder of OC's girl that's following him and pushes her towards OC. There. Your lapdog did her job. Was I a good boy? Was I a good boy? I hope I was a good boy. Anything to report to OC?
All right, hold on a second. Time out. I got to ask you this question. Are you doing this with everything that's going on around you? Because there are people still. I mean, the moment that Raymond Bowerstone is in Charter
it's
Hall,
in the place. Yeah.
more and more people are coming to engage you. They're coming to get autographs. You've got political colleagues, who other aldermen of other districts who are coming in and trying to get your attention. You do this while that's all going on?
Yeah.
Okay.
As soon as that would happen, Steam would step up and catch the girl as if she had tripped and kind of, maybe even drag her down a bit to make it look like she was in the process of falling and say, "My dear, be careful. The alderman was trying to catch you." And turn around and confront Bowerstone, get as close as he thinks will keep him relatively docile, and he says, "You are needed, Raymond. Do not act like this."
Oh,
shush
I know
me.
everything, Steam. Every day becomes clearer and clearer and clearer. Autograph. Yes, thank you. Oh, it's such a hard life.
OC is going to take her girl and just kind of like rub her back and put coin in her pocket for like to pay her for a task she wasn't supposed to be doing. And just,
Did you?
you don't want to be
complete
here
it?
anymore. And she's whispering, you can't, she's like shooing her off to go home and tell her that she's off for a few days. And to
Did you
thank her.
complete your little mission? Did you complete it without me?
Steam is guiding the alderman into the nearest empty room, alcove, closet.
So as you begin to try to do this, it's really difficult because it's hard for you the act of her being pushed cleared up the crowd a little bit around, but you catch her and you bring her into the fold essentially and make that statement, right? And the crowd sort of closes behind you, and she's allowed to leave when you let her go. But you trying to drag Bowerstone away, it becomes more difficult because of the crowd, because there's a small group of about 30 people around, some looking for the autograph, because in Charter Hall it would, even if you see Alderman Bowerstone, it's still a situation where he's the hero, right? It's unusual to see him on the street, especially since he's been gone, and you've got all this. So there's that group is just it's making it really difficult for you to get away, and he's really kind of
Steam, please, the people want to see me.
OC will see what Steam's trying to do, and she's fuming right now, but she'll nudge Nyx to deal with all the people, tell them that he'll say something, tell them he'll to write to him or to come meet him during office hours or something.
Oh, right, we're not watching the spectacle. Excuse me, everyone. And he begins to kind of dissuade the crowd. The alderman has taken ill as of late, and he is feeling a bit under the weather. Excuse his absence recently. He will have, all of his appointments will be rescheduled. He will be brought back here, autographs will be signed, everything will be fine. His next public appearance will be in several days' time. No, shush. See, this is the sickness, the delirium is setting in. High temperature, high fever. Exhaustion, that's the word they say for celebrities. He will sign all autographs, etc., etc.
I'm
he just
sorry.
Sort of rambles on.
Who are you?
How subtly can I strike him in the throat?
Everyone's staring at him.
Nyx,
everyone is staring at him. All eyes are on Bowerstone, and what I was just about to ask was for Nyx to roll something,
sure,
to see how he affects the crowd. But if you hit him,
I won't.
So I will.
We all just want to.
So I'll roll.
All eyes are starting to turn towards Nyx. You might be able to get away with it, but it's really I don't know which I'd rather resolve first: whether you hit him or whether he sways the crowd.
What if you just nudge him in the ribs or something? Where did he get shot?
What time?
Or didn't he get shot? Right?
That's cold. That's cold.
Oh, listen, you don't fucking touch her girls. She's waiting. She's biding her time.
All right, so what's going on, guys?
Do it, Steve. Do it.
No, Nyx, do your stuff, man.
All right,
so
this is your arena.
His thing. So this is a risky situation, Nyx, because he is I'm not saying that it's desperate, but he's making a pretty big thing about not wanting to go, right? But you are known as his assistant, among a lot of these people. So there is a bit of a sway in that respect. So it is risky, though.
Okay. Would you say it's standard or great?
I think given what you said, it's great.
Okay.
And I think you're going to get a bonus die for having history as his assistant.
Okay. I'll take that.
Do you want to push yourself or take a devil's bargain for another one?
No, I don't think
me.
that's
Can I assist in talking to people I do know based on my establishment and just be like, oh, what did you want to see him about? I'll make sure to get you an appointment, and just kind of like, schmooze. Because I've been seen on stage when he had his speech. So if anyone was there.
Correct. Yes. So she can also offer Nix an assist.
Okay. 5.
So 5. With that, there is definitely a consequence that's going to come into play, but you are mostly able to succeed.
Okay. So
go ahead.
So he kind of like says what he says to the crowd, and as there's like, I assume there's like, murmurs and like, oh, the illness, what is when will it be rescheduled? He kind of like sweeps and puts an arm around Bowerstone, and while the murmuring and din of noise of people that want to clamor towards him, he leans into Bowerstone and says, "If you act out of line again, I swear to God, I will pay Steam to walk into the Vale and kill your family." This way, Mister. Really? Alderman, this way. This way.
Say it again, Nix. Say it again.
I'll do it myself. We'll see you in just a few days' time. It will all be well. And he kind of starts leading him.
The crowd begins to disperse, and all of them, kind of move on as you are taking Mr. Bowerstone, Alderman Bowerstone, away. However, you do notice that there appears to be somebody scribbling a lot of notes, and she is wearing a badge of some kind that indicates that she works for one of the local newspapers. And she's furiously writing, and she's just like, you see this, and if anybody steps behind her, you get a sense that she is scribbling and drawing something.
Can I try to look if I notice her?
Oh yeah, she is. You are seeing that she is quickly, sketching the situation, with Bowerstone looking a little out of sorts and Nix having to escort him, and it's just like this quick sketch kind of a thing. But there are notes around that too.
Okay. Seeing that, can I say something?
You can, but as you do,
it won't affect it. But yeah.
Well, if you could try to affect her in some way, but there's going to be a blue cut there. That's the consequence. Is that somebody noticed that this is something not right.
Okay.
So what are you going to say?
Yes, Lord Bowerstone, as you all know, had an attempt on his life, and it has been wearing on him. He has been seeing people. He was here during, all of the panic, and it's really taken a toll. He just needs a few days to rest. That's all.
That's funny because you're the person right there. The assistant just said something about a fever, which is a completely conflicting story. That's really interesting. Thank you very much. What's your name?
Oh, my name is OC. You can come to any of my establishments.
Oh, okay.
And when you don't rest and when you are stressed, you do get sick. Write that in your notes, and she'll walk away.
Oh, thanks. I'll be seeing you soon, OC.
Okay.
What name is on the press badge?
The Dust Bowl Times.
What name? She should have her name on there since it's a badge, but
no, it doesn't.
Fucking badge authority over here.
It's a press credential. It just indicates that she's a part of the press.
OC. Well played. Well played.
that's
I trust you got your information right.
Why is our first resort just fucking kill people?
This is kill the newspaper reporter.
So much easier.
Guys, we were so nice before we got an assassin in the party.
So,
which one?
You're able to. It's funny that you have to ask that particular question. So you're able to escort Bowerstone off to the side and continue your journey to Brightstone. Do you want to do anything else before continuing on to Brightstone? Because you've got Crazy Pants here doing crazy things.
No, I think Nyx is just going to harass him the entire time. What was that? Behave yourself.
Behave yourself.
Carrying around a child, I can understand why your parents never let you leave the house.
I'm sorry.
You will be.
What?
You heard what I said. I can go get them right now.
Oh, every day that they speak to me, it becomes more and more truthful. Every day.
Is that why you locked them away in your house? Is that what you do to people you love?
Safety and precaution and sleep. It's so many things. But one thing that becomes apparent is more that they speak. I am the last Bowerstone alive.
There will not be one if you touch one of my girls again.
A threat, OC. A threat. Come now. We've done so much together. Be ashamed to end it all when the story hasn't finished.
She's going to look over to Steam. Please let me hit him. Please let me hit him.
I think we should open his throat.
Let's kill his parents first.
Mentor. That's so harsh.
Does Nyx take offense to that?
What?
OC just asked permission from Steam to kill.
He's his guardian.
You also picked up on that.
No, I'm not.
You were his guardian.
He was hired help, and the contract is over. It was you can be his bodyguard because I'm telling you to, and the payment is you get the book. He got the book.
I believe she is asking me because of the technical defeat she suffered at my hands.
Yeah,
She fears for her own life.
the technical defeat.
Fuck, this list of killing people is growing long. All right.
You're technically stronger, which is the best kind of strong.
Technically speaking.
You actually lost, and actualities are what count.
I don't accept that.
Okay, I'll beat your ass again.
I disbelieve your loss.
It's all an illusion.
All right.
This continues on the way to...
Yeah.
I guarantee it would. You guys are becoming petty and ridiculous. But I have one other question prior to getting... so I just want to confirm yet again, the location of Raymond's parents is the Vale, right? Is that what you just said?
Oh, I'm sorry. I meant the ghost field. The field is what I meant to say.
Yeah.
Because you had asked them to back off before. I was
Yeah,
trying
I
to
have
make
no
sure.
idea where they backed off to. So that's a you thing. We just told them to back off. Wherever they went is wherever they went.
So Raymond, as you talk about that, as the conversation continues, and you hear, them then arguing and getting petty and ignoring you for just a second, you hear your mother crying in your ears, and she says, "Not the last." And we're going to cut to Whitestone.
That's a cliffhanger that you just dropped that on me.
And that's the game for today. Thank you so much, guys, for
See you guys.
joining us.
Yeah. Everyone else.
The rest of the show is us just threatening to kill Bowerstone.
So you follow the trail, and it leads you through 6 towers, right past Eden, and some other fun parts of 6 towers into Brightstone, and you find yourself at the warehouse of Chaos, the one that you had taken from Brightstone, going downstairs, taking the boat across the canal to the Lost District. The trail is more faint there, as if it's been longer since it was last walked there. But in that, you see that there is also sort of a faint imprint of a hand on the door. It is so faint and so old that it is almost gone. Now the warehouse itself is completely dark. There is no activity inside. When you look in the ghost field, there is the faint glimmer of residual spectral energy that kind of permeates everything. But you don't see anything inside without going inside, and it's completely dark and quiet.
This is the warehouse, right? Not the...
This is the warehouse.
Oh, okay. Yeah, assuming that... I mean, Nix assumes he's dead, so he just strolls right in.
So the goat and the carriage are gone. In fact, there is no trace of them. It's not like the goat died there or that the carriage was left there. The goat and the carriage are completely gone. The table at the back of the room containing tools for the maintenance of the carriage are all covered in a thin layer of dust. There are no light sources lit in this particular room, and the stairway leading down is dark.
Yeah, so he walks in, and if everyone follows him, he turns around to Bowerstone. And Nix gets complete serious Nix, and like grabs Bowerstone and pulls him in and says, I need you to understand something. This is not time for your shit right now. When we go through, we'll be on the other side of the barrier. Your condition will get worse if what I've read is true. Do you understand? You are a beacon for everything over there.
Are you trying to kill me?
No, I don't try to kill you. I don't give a shit. You've served your purpose. I'm trying to save your life. Other things will be attracted to you the same way they're attracted to you, and he motions towards where his parents usually float around him.
We don't mention that.
Swear to gods.
But okay, I'll play
You rang?
nice.
Yeah.
Contain your shit.
Don't worry, I think we've got Steam on it with us, you know. He's always there to protect me.
I'm going to leave you out there if you cause us trouble.
Oh, you've turned so quickly, Mentor. So quickly.
I have my own shit to deal with. And he motions towards the nothing behind him. Says, I can't
Shall we?
watch your back either.
Shall we have some fun? Good old times.
And he reaches into his jacket pocket and he slides on his spirit mask. And then into his chest, and he pulls out his charm as well.
I have a question.
So do I, but you can go first.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's okay. You've got a question, go first.
Based on how she has used it in the past, and she's used it, you know, like in the one like that far back and probably before then, would she know if trance powder would work on Bowerstone?
As long as he's conscious. And for however long the duration of trance powder is going to last, yes.
Great.
Oh, I love
Can I do that? I don't want to
I don't know,
command
can
him.
you?
I'm going to say, you are Raymond Bowerstone. You ignore everything your parents say. You don't hear them. You don't see them. Nothing. She wants to make him normal for a little while so he can go back to like having his own thoughts.
Wow.
That's fucking brilliant.
That's cool.
That was
Can I do that? I don't want to like take his player agency away. I don't want him to like
No, I'm
follow
not-
me. I
I'm not. I
I
think-
want him to like
As
be able
long
to
as-
talk to us.
Yeah.
Okay, so there are two things that I'm going to say about this. I completely love the idea, and ultimately it is up to Slade what he wants to do there, right?
I think it's great.
She would wait until they get towards the danger so it lasts longer. Like
Okay.
like once they get to the barrier, like right before they go across the cusp.
Okay. Second thing I will say is, as with anything else that goes on, especially in these circumstances, there will be some level of consequence, right? So,
He can't be any worse than he is now.
well, ultimately, this is starting to sound like going into the district, the Lost District, to find Nicholas Penderin is a score.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, so this is the perfect time to start doing that. All right. So what kind of a score is this, guys?
Man.
I'm
Is this-
looking for someone.
Is this an assault? Is this a deception? I mean, like,
Oh, yeah.
legitimately, this could fall under. I mean, is this a transport? Are you trying to?
Yeah, transport, I was thinking.
kidnap somebody and then bring them back, right? Is like I think what you're trying to do.
Yeah, I mean,
free them or
preferably.
If he doesn't
not.
come willingly.
Yeah, yeah.
Right, exactly.
We'll hold his hand.
Yeah, because that worked with you.
We've been doing a lot of that lately.
Yes.
Okay, so this is going to be a transport then, correct?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what is the detail in that then? Let's see. The detail is the route and means. So the route means into the city and into the and out of the Lost District is there. Do you have an indicator as to where you think he actually might be, or are you just going to fly blind going into this situation?
Where Nix thinks he might be is based on that letter, Caius' house, the house that we went to, the
Great.
tower. Yeah, the tower.
Okay, great. All right, so then let's talk about loadouts. Anything different other than Bowerstone not being in the Bowerbomb outfit?
I don't think so.
Shit.
I'm fixing my loadout, sorry.
That's
Yes.
okay.
Steve will have his armor back on.
Of course.
Hey, Steam, can I borrow some knives?
Are you in your right mind?
No, you're not.
Not
you're right
yet.
Of course.
Then no.
Oh, just a little blade. Just a little one.
There's only one way I'm giving you a blade tonight.
Wow.
I had no idea, Steve.
Can somebody clip that?
Wink.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Trendane, you have competition.
I don't think you're the one he wants, to be fair.
Let's be honest. Yeah. All right, guys. So let's talk about the engagement roll. So there's one die for sheer luck here.
Actually,
What else is
I'm taking my armor as well.
Okay. One die for sheer luck. What else is going on, guys? What else is in your favor here?
The
We've
fact
been
that
there before.
Yeah, I was gonna say the fact that we've been there before. We know the route that we're taking.
Okay.
I mean, we expect him to be dead. We expect Caius to be no opposition because we assume he's dead. So I don't know if that counts or doesn't count, but we're
Based
going in
on-
confidently expecting no opposition.
You're expecting no resistance from him.
Right.
basically.
OC does. After everything she heard from the sisters and everything, she doesn't think he could easily be killed. She doesn't know, but she's always wary with that kind of stuff, especially being around the sisters. She doesn't
Okay.
think a mere human person, like a person, could just kill him
I
easily.
mean, it was a god.
That doesn't, yeah.
Okay, so I'm hearing that I'm hearing both sides of the argument there that it's a positive and a negative, right? That there's a positive that you don't expect him to be there, but from Nyx. But OC is hearing different from, or has heard different from the sisters. So that means that it's a negative in the same way. So are we? I mean, is it like
Yeah, I would
an
say-
immediate
I would
wash
say
right there?
Cancel it out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a
okay.
wash.
All right. So know your route, sheer luck. What else is in your favor, guys? And no, Raymond doesn't get called, not crazy pants. And no, you can't go, one for lust because that was Trendane in last night, guys. Sorry.
One for justice.
What about, because I think OC is more motivated, I believe. One, she knows him. Two, she wants to fix Bowerstone because he's obnoxious. And three, because she wants to, and three, because she wants to fix Nye, and she thinks he can help. So she has,
So it's motivation.
So I would say that could apply for everyone. Motivation. I mean, Bowerstone's so insane. Bowerstone has the least motivation, but I think Steam has ample motivation. Finding Nicholas completes Nyx's entry into the Path of Echoes, so he wants to find him as well. So yeah, I think motivation, the sheer willpower, willing to just walk out into the Lost District.
Okay. That means that's what, 3 now?
Yeah,
Or is that 4?
luck, motivation, and knowing the route.
Okay.
Does anyone else have anything? Bowerstone, you get one?
I mean, not really. I mean, hell, as far as my character goes, to think about anything in this, it's null void.
I'm going to give you an additional one for OC's plan to minimize Bowerstone.
Oh yeah, okay.
Okay,
I
that's
think
pretty
that's a huge factor in your favor, guys, because Crazy Pants would definitely attract attention. He may still, but it would have less of an effect if he's not super Crazy Pants.
good. Is that the name now? Crazy Pants?
Yeah.
Well, do you want Bower Bottom or do you want Crazy Pants?
It's
Crazy Pants, love it.
It's Bower,
Love it.
It's Bower Pants.
Go with it.
Crazy Bottom?
Bower Pants.
Oh god.
Crazy Bottom. It's like...
That's
All
a
right.
different thing.
Yeah, I
Enjoy your stay.
All right, so it's 4 in your favor, guys. I'm going to throw 2 on the table. 1, I am definitely going to use. The second, I'm just going to ask you guys if you think it makes sense or not. First one that's going on the table that I believe wholeheartedly is while you've been there before and you have a little bit of uncertainty around what's going on with Chaos, you are walking into the Lost District again and aren't going in necessarily prepared as to its current state. Or right, there are Deathland scavengers. There are people who actually go into the Lost District all the time. So you're going in without as much as intel as you possibly could. So you don't know what's currently going on out there. So there's a bit of uncertainty there. So to me, that says that's a definite 1. So down to 3. Here's the second one, and it really is entirely up to you guys at this point. Given the previous experience you have with Chaos, and given the information, the conflicting information that Steam and OC are bringing into the conversation, there might be some doubt. There might be some real uncertainty about what you're going to find if you find Chaos. So that might actually factor in as a sort of a psychological impact on the group. So again, throwing it on the table. Do you guys think it makes sense? Does it matter? I mean, you're all motivated, and but there's a certain level of psychological uncertainty, especially given everything that has happened since the last time you've seen Chaos.
Yeah, I think I'm inclined to go with you on that.
Yeah, I can see that one as well.
So
Uncertainty, yeah.
Okay. All right. So who gets to roll 2 dice?
I think Bowerstone does.
I don't.
Oh, Crazy
I
Pants?
think so too.
I think Crazy Pants needs to roll.
Thanks.
Get all your crazy out now, bitch.
Yeah. So 2 dice, yeah?
don't fuck us, Bower Pants.
Can I get that a notification sound for
please, that's
something, please?
amazing.
I need it.
Okay.
Make sure you put a good message.
Yep.
Messages are important.
Unless you're
Right,
Mr. Wolf.
You fucked it up. That was pretty funny last night.
Hey, I have great notes.
4.
4. That's a reasonable entry into the engagement roll. All right. Go ahead.
I forgot this, but I will let you veto it entirely. We were using information gather at Beverly Chandler's house. If
Yep.
I use a consort to get information gather, we get +1.
Roll 1 additional 1. Bower Bottom. I mean Crazy Bottom. I mean
Bower Pants.
Bower Pants.
Bower Pants?
Bower Pants.
Slade, I'm also a person.
No.
Don't
Nope.
continue to fuck this up.
Yes!
Oh! Ooh. Very good. Very, very good.
Slade, keep me around, please.
Okay. So we're going to jump right into the action, guys. If you remember, you go downstairs to get to the little dock that's off the side of the room. You take one of the boats, you go across, and you go into essentially the other side, which is like a cavern, and it's lit, and it takes you in through, it's like this sort of like reddish glow. You kind of move your way through this like essentially 50 to 100 feet long, tunnel that takes you all the way to the dock on the other side. A couple things strike you as interesting as you're kind of making your way through. You think to light some sort of source of light as you're going downstairs and towards the boat. You see actual footsteps in the thin layer of dust that is kind of covering the floor. If you take the time and look, and I am assuming that you would, given your curiosity and that roll, you realize that there were 4 individuals who had made their way in that direction. There are 4 different sets of footsteps, or footprints. The boat is also not found in the same way that you remember it the last time, and it's clear that there is a little bit of water still in the bottom from the last time it was used. Just like, faint outlines of water, like little puddles at the bottom of the boat. Going across the canal, it's a very cold night. It's raining. There is a faint howling noise as you get closer to the lightning barrier, and it can be heard over the cracks and the shimmering and sound of electricity that is the lightning barrier. And as you make your way in under the tunnels, that same red illumination kind of just carries you through. But you find nothing else out of the ordinary by the time you get to the other side. And so you're at the foot of the steps leading up into the building that leads you into the Lost District.
Have you tranced him yet?
So you've gone past the barrier now, so it's probably a good time to put Crazy Pants out of his misery.
She would be looking at the steps. And she would start talking to him about, while we're looking at the footprints.
Right.
I really didn't appreciate you striking one of my girls. And she'll look him in the face. She's already holding it, waiting for him to look at her.
Well, you see, the thing is...
Oh, God.
And she'll say what she said about, your parents aren't there, you're just Bowerstone.
I don't remember getting such a sneeze coming out here.
She's going to slap you in the face.
Ow!
I will take it under consideration that you are not yourself. If it happens again, you lose your hand. You can live without a hand.
Yeah. I'm sorry. It's been a rough one.
And she'll
you
hug
okay,
him
though?
to make sure he's okay. Yep.
Yeah. I'm okay.
Steam walks up and flips over a knife and hands it out hilt first to Bowerstone. Alderman.
Are you sure?
I'm fairly certain I'm safe.
Yeah. Yeah, you are. And he'll take it and just grasp in his hand. Right.
He'll drop his hand on his shoulder for a second and just kind of be glad to have his friend back for a moment. Johnny, I also want to say that I am actively using Ghost Mind. So it doesn't cost any stress, but I am always aware of a supernatural entity when it enters my presence.
You are flooded with that information. In fact, the first thing that you get as soon as that transpounder is thrown into OC's or thrown into Bowerstone's face from OC, you hear his parents clamoring.
Okay. My thing is, I just want to make sure that that's up so I'm aware of anything major coming at us. The talking heads I'm fine with. If I see some big shit coming our way, I want to be able to give us some type of warning.
The yelling and screaming of Raymond's parents is loud. In fact, it obscures some of the other noises that you hear.
They're here?
Oh, yeah. They got into the boat and followed you.
Oh, good. He walks directly over to them, and he says, "Well, thank you for joining us here. Good luck getting back through the lightning barrier." And he continues.
Mentor, you all right?
Just talking to some assholes. And it's not you. And it's not OC.
This time.
Is there anything you want to tell us before we go any further, Bowerstone?
I thought you were looking at Nyx.
You haven't been yourself, and you haven't had your thoughts about you. Think if there's anything that you need us to know while we walk. Okay?
I feel like I've been given a task. And it's not something I'd normally do. Like I have a drive that I had once, but it's for something else. I get the sense of justice, but in a way that I wouldn't do it. Fuck. I killed someone. I didn't just kill someone, God.
Don't worry about it, Raymond.
What if that happens again? I mean, killing is one thing, but I destroyed his... That's not normal.
Well, potato, potato. Let's
Let's focus on the task at hand. I mean, look, I'm sure whatever's going on with me will be sorted.
The clamoring is continuing from his pants, by the way, but it's muted in a way because of his current trance state.
She'll say,
We should hurry.
we'll get you fixed. He's right. And she'll start walking as well.
Okay, you find yourself upstairs again in the building that when I described it to the Void when they were here the last time, I used a visual representation that I think makes a lot of sense. The architecture is a lot older, a couple hundred years older. It's more stone and not necessarily, really well-formed bricks, but just more, roughly shapen stone and wood and plaster. It doesn't have the modern architecture of a lot of things. And what I used was, and some of you will probably laugh at this, is I used the way that the human towns look in WoW. Right? They're very much this combination of big pieces of lumber, right, with big pieces of stone and very really nice craftsmanship, but there's definitely an older style and an older thought process behind it, right? So you walk into this building yet again, coming up from the stone stairway from the tunnel, and find yourself in a situation where you're immediately on edge because there are things moving outside. And they don't immediately spot you, and so you're able to kind of realize that there's something going on, and you step up and you quickly move to the second story of this particular building because the doors are open on the first floor. And so you're able to get up to the second story and kind of look out a window, and you see a pair of vaguely hound-shaped creatures kind of walking languidly, very slow, very kind of almost strolling, casually pawing and sniffing at the air towards the direction that you need to go. And off in the distance, you hear a howl.
Oh man, that was a cool scene. Is anyone attuned right now? Or is anyone in the ghost field?
OC probably would have attuned. Not like all the way, just...
So as I said to Steam there is a flurry of activity, right? There are echoes of the town and its current existence. There are all kinds of just examples of what life was like in that flurry of activity. But beyond that, there are definitely other things kind of moving out there. Spirits who appear to be moving of their own volition. Presences of, that are moving in different directions and doing things. And vaguely you can see shapes that resonate very red. And those two shapes you see moving down the street are the hounds. And this is unusual because you don't typically see this type of activity. But it's clear that something has started up. And this is outside of the Lightning Barrier and in the Lost District. So you are technically in the Deathlands.
Is this the red that I saw on myself in the vision?
No. Oh, no. This is very different.
Okay.
So while attuning, Nyx kind of adjusts his mask. and his other hand reaches behind him and he slides the dagger out from its perch, and he adjusts the hook that's looped on his belt, and he kind of squares up and looks at these two red shapes in the distance, and he looks over to Steam, and Steam, if you're attuned, this is the first time he's worn his mask while attuned, or while in the veil, and you see that the eyes, as well as the veins that go down, kind of have this blue glow. And he looks to you and says, "This won't kill them, but it will slow them down. I have a feeling it's the only thing that will."
I have a feeling that if we fight, there will be more. This is going to require stealth.
That's your field of expertise.
It is a level playing field out here, my friend.
Well, in this instance, I defer to you. If we should be attacked, lead them away. And he just readies his blade. So yeah, he will follow your lead, Nick, the lead, Steam.
How do you want to proceed here?
Johnny, are there ways to get, and I think we asked this before, but I can't remember the answer. Are there ways to go along the ruined rooftops to get to Chaos's tower?
Yes, there is. But the building that you're currently at is in a four-way cross street. Right? It's like a central set of avenues coming together. So the distance to jump between those two is pretty far. It's probably about 40 feet, maybe more.
Could we get to the corner of the intersection that would be chaos level, if that makes sense? Like, making sure that it's we're going to the left or right hand side of the street that would lead us directly to Chaos's tower without having to cross the street again.
You have to cross at least one street.
Right. If we crossed the one and then went up to the second
one, you see that there is a way for you to get there. You can see a direct path. You're just not sure about every street in between. You do remember that there were alleys and that there were other streets. You just don't remember whether there was a lot of streets or not.
Okay. I have my... No, I don't. Shit. Does anybody have any rope?
Does anyone have any rope?
Can I do a flashback?
I do in my basement.
Hey, is that a flashback time?
Yeah, I was going to say, can I do a flashback?
No, Crazy Pants. Because I don't think Crazy would pull into Crazy Pants in this particular case.
Yeah. Pants are secured.
That's true. You might not have thought about that when you were crazy.
Yeah, it's true.
You also did not bring your Bower Bomb suit. And
no, I didn't.
Again,
that's what I was talking about.
That's the whole Crazy Pants thing, because your grappling hook would have been perfect here.
Yes, exactly.
OC's going to look at
The
Steam.
one time.
What do you need the rope for?
To meta this real quick, Steam was going to go across the street, go up to the second level, and attach the rope and get it over to you guys so you could go across and not have to go street level.
Could I use... My sash isn't long enough. That's what I was going to ask. It's not long enough.
Unless your sash is about 40 feet or longer, I sincerely, yeah.
I was just thinking, if it was just to get up a story and, latch onto something, that's kind of what it's used for.
Didn't you use it to rappel down a 3-story building?
Didn't I fall?
You did fall, but if you were still able to rappel down...
She wasn't. She jumped out of the window and then fell.
That was a pretty epic fall.
I was just meaning in leg.
I didn't use my sash.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think no. Unless you do a flashback, Steam, to get rope. To get climbing gear.
I'm afraid that my stress is best used for other things.
What are you trying to say there, Greg?
I'm saying I'm selfish.
Can OC use her flashback in the thought process of we're going to the Lost District and Bowerstone might be a nuisance and she would bring rope?
Sure, we'll call that one stress. But
Fair.
But Greg, you have a whole 7 amount of stress, man. I know that's you got plenty, man. You could do it too.
I have 6 now.
Yeah.
I think we've all got pretty high stress at the moment.
Do you know how quickly I burn through stress, man?
I do.
Pretty
Is it because Bowerstone's around, or is it just normally?
It's normally
A little bit of
very high strung.
No, I think he's a little bitter from that fight.
Johnny, you're really pushing this, man. He really wants this to happen.
Why don't you ask him about it?
Technical victory.
Did you say that?
In boxing, this would have been a win for me.
Went to the table. Judges scoring cards.
So yes, OC is able to flash back and grab a rope.
Okay. Using my natural sneaky powers of steam and my fine shadow cloak, he is going to scoot across ground level and go up to the second floor to affix said rope and create a tightrope for them to walk across. Or crawl across, because they're not me.
OC uses her sash and hops with her upper arm strength across.
Okay, wait a minute. This is gonna be fun. Okay, so
The bodies at the floor.
Listen, I fell once. Fuck you guys.
So, yes, Steam is able to do that without issue. However, anybody crossing that rope is definitely going to require some sort of a roll of some kind, an action roll.
Yeah.
Nest makes the most sense. However, I'm game to hear other things.
I would say prowl too if you're trying to like.
Yeah, can I do it in prowl from previous training?
I can also make a suggestion, but then Steve would have to roll along with this.
Mm-hmm.
That you're going to have to make a group roll.
Oh no!
Are you holding it or tying it?
He'd tie it off. There's no reason to hold. He needs to be free in case there's a problem. I don't want to have someone halfway across and there's a problem, and I'm sitting there. Oh shit! I must stay here.
I must let go of this rope. Fuck them.
Right.
Who won the fight now, bitch?
Technically, you're going to fall.
Man.
Wow.
So I just a straight roll of prowl. That's 1 die for me.
Okay, so let me jump back to this idea of a group roll real quick. Here's what the group roll will get you. One of you takes charge and basically runs the roll. As long as one of you succeeds, all of you succeed.
Oh yeah, I like that idea.
However,
Okay.
For everyone that fails, the leader of that particular roll
Take stress.
takes 1 stress for every player that fails.
How much stress you got, Bowerstone?
You got that?
4. I've got 5 stress.
Oh man, fuck. I have 6.
I do it.
How many do you have, Nix?
If I get another trauma, it'd be fun.
1.
You have
Oh,
1
you're
stress.
doing
It's
it.
Nix. Fuck you,
Yeah, that's
Nix.
for you.
I'm not
Sure.
gonna succeed.
Oh, you don't have
It's
prowl
got
or
to be
finesse.
me.
No,
have-
it could be Bowerstone.
I don't have
Do you
either of
do you
them.
want to do that, Bowerstone?
I'll do it. Yeah. why
Okay.
not?
I have 4 in prowl.
I have 0 in prowl and finesse.
How many do you have?
2 in prowl. It's
Okay,
gonna-
explain how this works again, Johnny.
We all roll for every fail you take a stress.
I thought that I rolled and everybody made it.
We all roll. If one person makes it, we all make it.
Listen,
For
let's
every
say the
failure-
3 of us fail. You get 3 stress. You get 1 stress for every person that fails. But we all make it across. You just get the stress.
I think Nick should try to fight the rope in some way and justify it, and we'll call that part of his roll because that's the only way he's going to get to roll skirmish.
I can.
Can OC just try to climb up with her sash onto the building that he's on instead of doing this rope bullshit?
Can I seduce the rope? Roll that one.
The rope gets very hard.
Can I consort with the rope to maybe get across it?
You know, I was trying to give you guys an opportunity to make this really super simple. All right, each of you are individually going to have to roll.
No, let's do the group thing. Let's do the group thing.
Yeah, fine.
It's more
whatever.
fun that way.
So
All
if
right.
one person makes it, they all make it. Do I get to roll too, or is it just?
Oh yeah, you have to roll.
Yeah, but if they fail, I get nuked with stress.
That's if you lead it. I would suggest that the person with the least amount of stress leads it, but that's just me, right?
Because
so
the
I
rolls are
was-
going to be the same.
Yeah,
It
I
doesn't
in
matter
this
what you
case,
roll. It's just
okay.
your roll.
I can lead it.
All right.
Wait,
You
you take
better.
one for the team?
All right. So Nyx goes first.
Nick's being a team player? Possessed.
Totally
He's-
possessed.
He's a ghost the whole time.
Not yet.
So I'm gonna just
So you're
What's
going to
the-
seduce Trendane's rope, right?
I'm
Oh,
gonna
sorry.
seduce his rope real hard. What are the position and
The sacred oils. I'm sorry.
Risky.
Yep.
And what do you guys think? Limited or standard?
Is it
That's
risky or
awesome.
is it desperate?
I mean,
I'd argue for desperate on this, to be honest.
Well, so the
Is it-
okay, so the drop is about 20 feet. There are none of these demon dogs close to you, but they are somewhere off. I mean, you could if you want to justify that it's incredibly difficult to walk a tightrope or even climb across a tightrope, I'll give you desperate.
I mean, we could get XP.
You just want the XP.
for it.
Exactly.
Actually, can I argue in the other direction?
Sure.
So Nyx has never walked a tightrope, but he's walked the rigging of a ship.
Oh, absolutely.
OC's using her sash and she's skilled.
But
with
he
her.
always had a rope tied around him so that when he fell off, because he's a clumsy
Oh yeah,
shit,
yeah. Well, yeah.
he didn't take finesse.
Well, that's true. He had a safety wire, but he's experienced at least at walking on ropes.
All right, so I'll tell you what. Because of that, Nyx is going to get a bonus die.
Fuck yeah. All right, so risky, standard,
Yes.
and then I'll get a +1.
If I'm using my sash, can I have a +1?
Depends on how you use your sash.
I'm gonna like hop it over like at monkey
Yes.
bars, but use my sash.
So a little swing aside, Nyx makes it across, no problem. That's one less stress for,
Me.
yes, you. All right, so OC is going to go next, and she's going to use her sash how?
Like have it over the rope and just with her upper body strength, like push
Okay.
forward on the rope. Desperate. That's what
No,
we're
I
calling
still
it?
think it's risky because you're not facing
Okay.
you're not facing certain death right now in any from a fall or from the.
Oh, so you're using like a zip line. You're just kicking off the building.
Yes,
yes.
and kind of like if she gets stuck, use her upper body strength to hop.
Just get stuck halfway.
Nailed it. You're welcome,
Very nice.
Steam.
So you also get across. No stress for Nyx. It is Bowerstone's turn next.
Watch
Yeah,
Steam
we
be the
just-
one that fails. Steam
We're
just
just gonna,
eats
we're
shit.
just gonna walk across.
I'm already across this, so I still have to roll.
Yeah,
You
everyone's
do still have to roll because this is a group thing, and what that would be is it would actually lead into the circumstance because you didn't tie the rope as well as you thought you did.
Oh, shit.
All right,
You should have let the sailor
Bowerstone.
tie the knot.
Oh wow! Okay,
Ladies.
so 3 out of 4.
I feel more pressure
Greg?
than what I thought I would be.
Don't fuck it up.
I'm fairly certain I will fuck this up. Okay,
It's only
so
one stress.
Are you
Yeah.
technically going to win in this case if you lose?
I'm technically going to lose. So, okay, this would be risky. I'm doing prowl, right? That's what my
Yes.
roll and all this was? Okay.
Yep.
Risky. Standard.
Yep.
I'm scared. Ah, never mind.
All right.
Second rope.
Success.
So the
Fuck
thing
you,
about
rope.
this particular roll and why I had you guys did a group action, but I didn't want to convince you of it using this particular element of this, is because now this affects the way that you move across those other buildings. Right? So you make it across that initially, right? You do that bit of dexterity, that bit of finesse, whatever, that bit of ability to kind of sneak across, right? And so you get to the other side and you begin to move closer and closer to the location where you know Chaos is. There are alleyways, sometimes 5 feet across, sometimes 10 feet across. There is one junction where you actually have to make a running jump and it's almost 20 feet across, but each of you successfully make it or are able to swing yourself in some way or use some other element of the environment to get yourself across there. And eventually you find yourself towards the foot, essentially the second story of the 4-story building that was Chaos's lair. Interesting enough, Nyx, as you're moving forward, you notice that there is no light in the window. Something that you noticed the last time that you were here. As you get closer, though, you begin to see more and more pairs of the demon dogs as they're wandering around, and you hear a stronger presence of howling closer and closer you get to that particular building.
Curiosity. Do I know what they are?
Yes.
Cool.
They are one of the lowest rungs of the demon zoology. They are essentially a mutation of a creature that you saw mentioned in the demon zoology.
For shits and giggles, can I roll study to see what I remember about them?
Let me look at your study.
I have one.
Because actually,
I'm trained one Pippin study.
I was hoping for either a hunt or a survey, but study works.
Well, I read about them in the book, so it would
you did read about them in the book. So go ahead. But survey is typically applied knowledge in that case, right? But so that works regardless. Go ahead and roll it.
Yeah, I would try to be applying. Well, so if you look at it says applied knowledge. Yeah.
Okay, go for
Yeah.
it.
Risky. Controlled.
No, this is controlled. This is absolutely controlled.
Effect.
I'm going to say great.
Okay.
Because it could trigger something, some bit of extra information for you.
Get fucked.
Very good.
They are bad. That's it.
Suck it, demon dogs.
So, you look at them and they're on the ground. You remember that they are deceptively small, right? Mm-hmm. So the fur and the way that their presence, they look like very thin creatures, man-sized hound creatures, but they actually are quite large and bulky, according to the diagram that you remember from the book. One of the other things you remember is that they have incredibly sharp, articulate claws for their front claws, such that they are able to, they're not paws, they're actually almost a morphing between claws and paws and hands, and so that they are able to grab on easily to prey. Of course, sharp teeth or whatever. They have terrible hearing and terrible eyesight, but they have an amazing sense of smell when blood is drawn.
Oh my god. They're blind deaf sharks. Fuck.
They've got terrible eyesight. They're not blind, right? It's terrible though, right? It's the kind of thing where and it'll become obvious should you engage any of them.
Back in the day when our only issue was blue coats.
Yeah, so he would. This is the one of those few times that Nyx just willingly shares information.
Good.
About these demon dogs. Taking particular care to mention the fact that they have a keen sense of smell for blood. So don't get injured, or cut, or stab Bowerstone.
So there's one bit of information. One other bit of information I should probably give you. I realize that this will be important. That Nyx would know this. They are incredibly susceptible to influence, but that's not explained. It's just they are incredibly susceptible to influence.
Good tie-in. I like that. Okay, cool. Neat.
Fucking phantom whispers.
It's not phantom. It's actually the void. It's a pretty fucking cool thing. Yeah, so he tells everyone that, and then they proceed, I assume. Do these buildings kind of escalate up towards the tower, or how do we?
The building is like an incredibly large N was the way that we described it when you went there before.
Oh, so there's like windows we can get in from the roof level we're at. Okay.
It's like a 10 feet across jump, but you were able to, and there are windows open on the second story, but you don't hear any noise coming from that building, and it's quiet.
Can I try to get a bead on Pendrin to see if I can see his trail?
So you are in the ghost field, and you see trails all over the place. The trails of the living are scattered, all over this place, because the you see indications of Deathland scavengers and other people who tend to the Lost District, because the Lost District actually has some repositories of old family heirlooms that are still being recovered even to this day, even though the district was lost some 500 or 600 years ago. No, sorry, that's not true. 200 years ago. My bad.
Can I see if there are any tracks leading directly into KS's tower?
There is one track leading into KS's tower.
Okay. Does it, description-wise, match what I've been following before I lost it in the maelstrom of... It does not.
No. It definitely is different, and it is a solid, luminescent. It's a very solid color of white.
Solid purple.
White.
Like the judge?
Like KS.
Okay. So was the judge, though, too, wasn't he?
No, the judge is just a beautiful, sort of radiant, sort of like, this is like a flat sort of a color.
A real pasty complexion.
So here, think about it this way: a light source has a type of brilliance, and it's very shimmery, or there's a radiance of that kind of thing. If it was a white light source, it would be very brilliant. If it was KS's light resonance, it is more like a muted kind of like a. You've ever seen like an off-white wall, or you see like street color or street lines that are painted in white on the ground? It's that color of white, except without the reflective element to it. It's very, very flat, very almost lack of brilliance in reflection. And you see that going into the building.
Does it look recent?
Yes.
Okay.
As recent as everything else that Steam was able to track.
Okay.
Up to that point.
But I don't see anything from Pendrin going. So either it's too light, or I just can't. Or either Pendrin didn't go in here, or it's too light for me to see.
You would make the assumption that whatever it is, the presence of KS's resonance, residue, whatever, because you're specifically looking at this, would cover anything else that it was.
Okay.
Right. So it's almost like it's masking it in a way. It may or may not be intentional, but it's definitely masking the color inside of that. Right. So.
Okay.
I relay that to them, since we're sharing.
You should share blades.
No.
Technically, I've already won them.
Now you're pushing it. So yeah, I assume. Nick's kind of like, once you tell him that, Nick kind of looks to you and says, "Where would we enter from?" He motions towards the building.
Steam runs across and jumps into the window of the second floor.
Well, that enters that, and Nick tries to replicate that maneuver.
Again, because of the roll that you guys made, I'm not going to have you guys re-roll for this particular element, because there's not a lot of danger going on here. So finding yourself in the second story, you find yourself essentially in a lounge area, or a small sitting room of some kind. However, like everything else, it is weather worn, dilapidated. It still looks better than a lot of the modern buildings that you've been in instead of Doskfall, but it's definitely seen better times, right? And so there are a couple of pieces of furniture in there, but nothing that strikes you as interesting. If you step out this particular the doorway of this particular sitting room, you will of course find the stairway that led you up to the fourth floor where you previously met Chaos.
Does the matte white footprints go up there?
When you get out of this room, you can see them that they're on the stairs, yes. And they are still it's harder for it to be seen, like for them to be covering, because the steps, everybody's steps up and down those stairs would be different. And so there you start to get a glimmer of Penderen's residence.
Going up, do I see him coming back down?
You see them going up and down multiple times, yes.
Okay. I relay this to them. Still sharing.
You're gonna have to teach me how to do all of this again.
Sharing.
Never.
It's hard.
No, attuning.
I taught you how to do it, and look what happened to you.
What happened again?
OC's gonna look to Steam. The book that I read, the one that I had held on to, it had artifacts from here. It was pre-cataclysmic, right? Is how it was described, Johnny?
Yes.
Perhaps maybe look into that if we have time while we are here.
Did you bring that book with you guys?
No. She read it, though.
Flashback.
I tend to agree with Mr. Bowerstone. If there's something in particular that you're looking for, absolutely. I mean, this would be a study roll at that point. Just
When I asked about the book, there was nothing specifically mentioned, even though I read it in the attune. Like when I attuned to it.
Specifically for what?
There were no specific artifacts mentioned.
Oh, it was essentially an incredibly large list of artifacts.
Can I do a flashback to before we went, at least specifically focus on, does it say where they are?
Oh yeah, there are general indicators of the repositories of these items all over the Lost District, right? So it wasn't like just one page. It was pages and pages and pages. It was a full-on ledger of that. So if you took the time to start to, if you've got something in particular in mind, you want to look at this particular building, then yeah, we can totally do a flashback and we can have you do a study roll around that, or you can do a study roll to see if you remember something about that. If there's a particular type of item that you're looking for, then we can do a roll or a flashback for that kind of a thing.
So can I ask what kind of items there are that might entice Miss OC?
There are items of every sort: books, weapons,
daggers.
Think about it in the same way that there would be like a plethora of magic items, those types of things, but more focused directly on the world of Blades in the Dark.
Would there be anything on our way to where we are, because she's already been there, so she would know, or around there that looks like something she would want, whether it's a weapon or a book or whatever?
I don't know. What does OC want? I mean, you're asking for vague things.
She would look in that. Okay, so she would look around that area specifically, like where we are now, because she's been here, and see if there's anything.
Oh, there's absolutely a repository. There's a vault, a couple of blocks even farther east from KS's building, where you would find one of the repositories of information, or sorry, not information, but items, or things that were listed in the ledger.
Okay, so she would relay that, not remembering maybe what the items were, but where it was, because that she would have focused on that regardless, because that's the only part of the Lost District she knows.
Okay. So you would relay what is
the location
on our way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Shit. Yeah. So yeah, I guess Steve, you're still leading the charge inside this building.
Okay, so we need to go up to at least the 4th floor and see if we've either got a wounded KS up there, a Penderen, or both.
Oh, I'm sorry. Spoken, of course, of Steam.
I'm assuming that. So I'm just going to assume the 4 of you walk up there.
Walk up
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Mosey.
You walk those stairs, right? You go up you walk up those stairs and find yourself in essentially the hallway area, and then entering the room where you all met KS previously, when Sling was rescued, quote unquote, and then subsequently taken away by Steam. The room is empty. It is cold. There is an unlit candle kind of just sitting at the center of the table where you originally found Chaos, and there is a shadow in the dust of what looked like there was a page there, like some sort of piece of parchment. And the dust that's where that parchment was is sort of a little thinner. It's a thinner layer. Otherwise, the page is missing, and the room looks untouched otherwise. And if you're looking for clues, as Steam is trying to do this whole resonance thing, two things strike you as interesting. The trail for Chaos feels colder in this room, like older. Except in one spot where there is this really strange outline on the floor, that of a body where there was all of this expression of energy and excitement. Something happened here, and it is the body is in the shape, or the resonant print is in the shape of a pendant. However, you don't find any physical residue, blood, or anything else in the room in that spot.
Here's what I want to do, Johnny.
No,
I know.
Absolutely
Okay.
not. You can't do that. You're done. Go ahead.
No. Okay. So you said that there was a page that rested on the table with the candle that had been there long enough to generate a thinner layer of dust, or been removed long enough, which means it had to have been on the table for an extended period of time.
That's correct.
Okay. I want to try and catch this thing in a loop. If it was resting in the same place for an extended period of time, that means that there's a much greater chance that it will be part of the echo. And so we have ghost echoes. I've got the field and I can attune. And since this is inanimate, I should be able to go back and at least see what this page was. Perhaps go back and see if I can read what was on this page.
So you're not going to have to roll for this.
I like
you're
it.
going to see that you're going to see that the page was there, but the text isn't going to be available to you, other than two things: bottom, the signature, the symbol of Chaos, and a warning that basically says, watch out for my friends. There's scribbled text at the top that are kind of blurry and starting to fade. Now, when you do this, though, and you're looking at the page, you see a ghostly shimmer of the flame that was burning at one point, and then it vanishes. And when it vanishes, that flame just goes out. You hear a ghostly echo of the howling that you've been hearing off in the distance.
I explained this to everybody else.
Man.
Okay, candle out, howls begin, because we didn't see these dogs when we came here the first time.
Right.
No.
The page was here. It had a warning, watch out for my friends. Chaos' symbol at the bottom. And we have an outline of what appears to be Penderin on the floor. Can I get anything more from that? From like the out.
This time I want you to attune. I mean, I want you to roll on attune and really, or we can throw a fortune roll at this, or sorry, fortune roll, and we can argue pluses and minuses there. I think attune is probably the better case. From a practical standpoint, I think with a fortune roll, you could probably argue more dice if you really wanted to. But it's riskier because, yeah. What do you want to do?
I'm just going to attune.
Okay.
Position, it should be controlled.
We're going to call the effect limited because you're focusing very specifically on the outline.
So, I'm going to super fucking meta right now.
Do it.
On behalf of OC, can she give him an assist? Because if you describe him as laying down, that is relevant to how he attunes or how he slips into the ghost field, and only OC would know that.
Yes. he definitely gets a bonus die for that, as long as he
Stress?
explains what he's doing. In this particular case, I'm going to say no, as long as as long as OC would voluntarily share that information. Like,
So I think she would. Would she have to give you any other information? Just that?
No.
yeah, I mean,
Okay.
we're basically bringing up a meta thing, and it as long as OC is okay. I mean, as long as she would volunteer in order to help, it would be of her own free will kind of a thing. Then yeah, I don't think there's any reason for stress because it's.
I don't think there's a reason she wouldn't.
It's like a crime scene investigation. It looks
Yeah.
like he was laying down here. That's how he goes into the ghost field.
Yeah.
It's a crime scene investigation, but there's also it's a matter of you revealing secrets of other people that that you have worked with previously. OC seems like she's kind of the person that, or at least based on the way that you've acted previously, is that you treat those types of relationships very, you treat them with reverence or respect, and you may not necessarily always volunteer information unless
Can she attune first to look before she does that? She's been attuning, but can she, like, if she would know that, can she look specifically at him and just see if there's anything out of,
That's kind of what he's doing right now.
Yeah.
Well, she's been in the ghost field the whole time, so she wants to know if that's 100%, before she says something.
100% who? Or it's 100% what? What are you trying to?
Never mind. She'll just tell him.
Okay. So that's an assist without stress.
Okay, so that's one bonus die.
Yep.
I'm going to roll now. That is a good thing you gave me that die.
Okay. So what specifically are you trying to get from this? Like, what information what is it about this circumstance are you trying to perceive? What are you focusing in on?
Okay, well, it changed now that he learned that that's part of his ritual to slip into the ghost field. If he used this to slip into the ghost field, now what Steam is trying to do is, if there's no trail or track of him leaving this room in the real world, then as soon as he realizes that he may have slipped into the ghost field, that's what Steam would do. Steam would say, okay, well, maybe he's still there. Maybe he has done something to... We have Bowerstone here who, as soon as he falls asleep, gets caught in it. So, I mean, there's a potential that he either snuck out of the tower in the ghost field and didn't leave any type of loop because he wasn't technically a part of the real world to make a loop.
Right.
That's the treatment, the theory that he's working with.
Okay.
He's still on the trail of Penderin. He's just checking to see if he's gone to ground, so to speak, in the ghost field.
He has not gone to ground in the ghost field. In fact, based on the information that OC gives you and what you're looking at, you see that energy that represents the outline was indicative of a struggle in respect to possession. You see that, you get an indication that he did leave his body, that he did enter the ghost field. And then subsequently there was a struggle when he came back to his body. And then his body left. But you don't see any residual... you don't see anything more residual from Hendren.
And Case doesn't leave the room either.
Case does leave the room.
You said that, yeah, but you said that I can't follow his footsteps from leaving the room, right? Isn't that what you said? The flat
No,
white?
I said that his flat white can be seen going up and down the stairway and out of the room.
Okay, so from what
the Penderin steps cannot be identified after a certain point.
Because he became somebody else. Oh,
I don't know.
shit.
Did he?
I don't know. My head.
So with that, so this is the point where I'm going to let OC attune because of what information that Steam would probably end up sharing in that situation. So please roll and take 1 die additional because of your personal knowledge and circumstance with Penderin, even though you didn't know him when you could attune. Right. So
it's a straight roll.
Just a straight. It's a straight roll, no position, no effect, none of that shit. Let's just see where this ends up.
And no bonus. Okay.
Well,
So
no,
you get
1
a
bonus
bonus.
die. You get a bonus die
Oh, I didn't hear that. I was just checking.
because of your previous relationship with him. Unless you want to push yourself or take a devil's bargain.
It's too stressed to push myself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
I have 3 stress left.
I wouldn't push yourself. You're still in the Lost District.
Do you have a trauma yet?
You don't want to go down in the Lost District. Let's just be, because if you take a trauma.
Do I though?
Season 3 fucking...
When was the last time you saw Nye? God, did I just say that? That sucks.
Trendane wants to know what's the devil's bargain.
The devil's bargain. Okay.
Fucking Trendane. You're a monster.
Trendane is amazing.
No, he's great, but he's a monster.
He's a national treasure. Leave him alone. The devil's bargain is I can suggest 2. One is that the reuniting the moment that you reunite with Penderin will be much more attractive to you than would normally be. And what I mean by that is
I'm really creeped
there will
out.
be a deal on the table that necessarily may change your perspective on everything.
That's fucked up. I watched what just spun through your evil head.
Can I know meta what it is, or you're just saying just to take it or don't?
That's one. The other is I don't know if I want to do this. Nye gets her memory back, but doesn't like what happened to the sisters, and it affects your relationship with her.
Does that mean she's fixed, or she gets her memories back?
She gets her memories back.
When she's fixed. When that's dealt with, if that's ever dealt with.
Her memories come back, and she's unhappy with you for what you did to the sisters. Holy shit! I'm sorry, I just saw that donation. I'm sorry.
What did it say?
So since I came late 2 crit successes for all players, then DM's choice for his crit success and fail for the Shroud.
Holy shit.
So Johnny, feel free to
Everybody
update
gets a
that
crit.
list. Everyone gets
Twice.
2 crits. Yeah.
2 crits.
Everybody gets 2 crits, and then there's a success and a failure. Okay, right.
I like the first one that you said.
All right. So when you meet Penderin, he'll make you an offer you can't refuse. You okay with that one?
Can I have 30 seconds? I was rushed into the last one. I've regretted it ever since.
I'll even tell you the offer if you really want to know.
No.
I think it would be more interesting to come up in.
No,
in
yeah, I'll just deal with it.
Can you tell me the offer?
No,
Oh,
don't
I
tell
mean,
anyone.
English.
Johnny, don't tell
'cause
anyone.
I'm
If you're not telling, no,
99%.
listen. Here's my thing. I will accept it if you don't tell anyone until it happens.
Can
I tell Trendane?
I'm 99%
No,
sure I
no,
know what it is.
literally no one. That's my agreement, though.
All
don't
right,
don't
first-
do it behind my
first
back.
word.
That's the only way I'm taking this.
Oh, I'm not. No, I'm good. You're good.
I'll take it.
All right. So that an additional die on top of your first bonus die,
Boy, I'm so fucked.
and roll.
Ooh, boy, I'm so fucked. Where's my sheet? I'm panicking. Okay, so I'm rolling. That's not what I meant to do. So, 2 bonus die. How the hell? 5. 2 5s.
Okay. So it is obvious to you, based on what Steam said, that not only was Penderin struggling for his body because something else was trying to possess him, that he wasn't able to escape once the fight started going badly for his body, and he is now trapped somewhere inside of that body. Like there's a clearly a resonance of like that struggle, and you just get a flash of an image of Penderin just being trapped.
And it's kind of, this is just from my own knowledge, it's kind of like a possession where you're in the back, like you're not in control of your body, but he's lost somewhere in there like that.
So yeah, right, exactly. Okay. So when Nye was possessing the body of that young woman, and there was all of those other spirits that were there with her, right? The woman was always in the background and not in control, right? So she was just there, and she could communicate, but she was never in control. And so for Penderin, you're getting that same type of impression, because it's like there is an echo that only you can pick up about this because of your familiarity with him, your previous experience with him, and so that just adds on to everything else that Steam saw, and so you're able to just kind of get that mental image. It was like Penderin's last desperate act of being able to leave something if somebody came looking for him, but only OC was able to pick it up.
So he's in there. He's just not.
He's in his
there.
body. Yeah. Not that.
Would she know any way to fix that?
You might want to meet him first. No, he did not leave an indication as to what that face would be. Sorry. I didn't mean to laugh out loud like that. I feel bad.
She would relay that to the group. He's still in there. He left a message for, I guess it turns out, me. He's still in there, and he's trapped.
But where would he go? And why was he here in the first place?
There was a struggle. It was against his will. There was a fight. And he left a distress call, if you will. We have to fix him. We need answers. Table's open for suggestions.
I've lost the trail.
Let's be honest, this isn't my field of expertise.
Yeah, fuck, man. I don't know how I have no idea how to proceed from here. We're kind of at a dead end. We don't have any clues as to where he went.
There is the trail of chaos.
Yes, but his trail would lead everywhere. He's been here back and forth several times. He's been to Ankyat Park. He's been several different places.
He may be here still.
But even if his spirit possesses Pendrin's body, we'd see a physical form somewhere.
There are tracks up and down the stairs. They seem fresher.
What if we take him with us? If you guys want, go to the cache and then go home.
Oh. Take who with us?
Pendrin.
Where?
Chaos. Whoever
Both of them.
Pendrin is.
If you can see the trail, I'll follow.
To be clear, we are suggesting taking a possessed being through the Badlands. They will not want to leave, nor will they want to cross into the lightning barrier.
Unless it is Chaos, in which case I believe he would.
Would he? If he has crawled back here to his tower after my sister nearly killed him, he might be licking his wounds.
In a new body, I assume they're fairly licked.
Or he is just hanging on.
Plus, we have all 4 books. The only thing he wanted beyond that was a Spirit Warden mask, but I feel like it's too late for that now.
I feel like he is in no position to ask anything of us. His time on this planet is done.
We need to bring him maybe to his father. Did you talk about that?
Yeah, I mentioned that his father wants him.
Yeah. He may know how to fix him. As may this Chandler woman.
I don't like this Chandler woman.
You do not like most people, to be fair.
That's fair.
It's technically fair.
Technically.
Fight.
I think we should fight about this.
Draw swords. Tell me who I like. I tell you who I like.
Do you want this tower to burn?
It's made of stone. It's fine.
Well, the stuff in it's not.
Assuming that I would kill me then. That's not true, technically.
So is that what we're doing? We're trying to find Pentracheus?
I mean, aren't they in his body?
Yeah, but he's gone. He's not here.
Well, now we never saw. Steam never saw the flat prints leaving the building. He saw them come in, the fresh ones come in, go up and down the staircase, but we haven't been down beyond the second floor yet. We haven't been down to the first floor or point south if there's a basement or something.
Yeah, we can go. Yeah, that makes more sense then. Yeah, let's go down. Let's go down below the.
So you believe he could still be here?
Someone's still here.
I don't want to be that guy. Are we even well equipped enough to take him on?
Oh, absolutely not. This won't even kill him.
Then
He left a plan that he had apparently been taking centuries to unfold and scheme with because my sister shot him.
I know
He's in
you're
no position.
all brilliant with your blades. I really do. Just this once, let's talk things out a little bit longer.
Fuck him.
Why don't we see what's downstairs? Go get the items while we talk about it.
I agree with that plan.
Everything might try to kill us as soon as we take these items, though. Just a fair warning.
Great. I'm glad I'm well equipped.
You have the knife I gave you.
Yes, because knives make me fly through the air.
You have the ability I taught you.
I'm not gonna lie. This is the most peace and quiet I've had in my head for a long time.
We'll make it stick.
Let's
Great.
hope.
Let's go fight a god.
Oh, see,
Ling.
what? This cache you speak of, what is it? What is here? Do you recall?
I do. Slightly.
She says confidently.
Why don't we go find out?
So
Okay.
Does Dustfall have Christmas? Does Dustfall have Christmas? Is there a
it's
version
the
of
fest-
Christmas?
remember, it's the Festival of the Moons,
You'll
and it's
see
in
I thought
on-
it was the.
You'll see
I
on
thought you called
Saturday.
it Goatmas.
You'll see on Saturday a very Dust Ball Christmas is going to be on
Maybe
Saturday.
I'll give you some of the items.
Guys, if you want to see a very Dust Ball Christmas, you can tune in on Saturday for our 12-hour stream for charity.
Plugged. You're
nice
welcome.
plug. Nice plug.
Totally on purpose.
Yeah, so he looks to you and says, well then, lead the way.
How far a walk is it? That she saw on the map based on, like, she would be able to plot, like, here to there was, like, this many minutes, so...
It's only a couple of buildings away to the east, but if I heard you guys correctly, you were going down to the first floor and trying to figure out if Chaos actually,
Yes.
or Pendrin, or whatever, left this building.
Yeah.
Playing Cluedo.
Well, so Scooby Gang goes down to the first floor, kind of looking around, and they realize that they find a stairway leading down, and those footsteps look incredibly fresh going down.
Steam, I believe you were the leader of this group.
Rutrow. Yes, I was.
Wait, is Nyx going to allow that?
She'll
again?
look at him like, you're obviously the leader, and she'll point to, like, go first.
It's a setup. I'm man enough to say I'll go down first. Technically, that makes me the winner.
Did she throw him down the stairs?
She can try.
Yeah, he'll walk down.
You find a nondescript sort of storage room full of rotting containers that would have at one point have contained things like grain and flour and ale and those types of things. But you watch the trail end at a wall that leads eastward through the wall, but there's just the wall there.
Can I check and see if there's any type of catch, any type of release, any type of false door, or...
After spending a couple of minutes of looking around, and because of the way that you're attuned, you would have seen that there is definitely a passageway on the other side of that. And you're able to find the catch, and eventually the door, the wall kind of slides in a little bit and then, slides to the side. An old mechanism, and it's very clunky and just, kind of making these clicking sounds as it does. And it's revealed an underground, essentially, set of catacombs that look very similar to the catacombs that you all have seen in Six Towers.
Oh boy.
And the trail definitely leads off to the east.
In my experience, Johnny, in Steam's experience.
No, you don't have any experience here, so go ahead.
How fresh are these tracks? Like a week, a day, an hour?
They're about a week old.
These are about a week old.
You're the fucking worst.
Guys, that's role playing right there. That's what it is.
I've just divined this information.
Nix puts his dagger away and sort of folds his arms and looks at OC and says, "Well then, lead on, leader."
And she'll go first.
Doesn't he do a splendid
Oh,
job?
he looked at you because you said it, motioning towards Steam to lead on because you called him the leader.
I am not getting in a pissing contest between the two of you.
He's already got a pissing contest he's got to deal
Are
with.
you afraid you're going to lose again?
Technically, I've never lost.
Technically.
Okay.
Yes, because fainting is so manly.
Technically, I'm unfucking defeated.
Are these the conversations I miss in Eden?
Yes.
I think I might
In
stay
that room we
outside
don't
even
talk
more.
about.
We will put a dog bed outside for you from now on.
So I believe we proceed
how
down with Steam in the lead.
Yep.
So Steam is able
Great,
to
sounds
follow-
awesome.
The Steam follows the trail. And like the catacombs of Six Towers, there are large caverns, there are small passages, there are tunnels, there are little rooms off the side. Most of this is actually well architected because there are stone arches, and for places where the crumbling was starting to happen for whatever reason, there were repairs done dating back a couple hundred years. A lot of it is in disrepair now, but it is still in much better condition than anything that you've seen in Duskfall. Eventually, you were able to follow the trail as it goes past the location where the vault is, but there is an obvious off to the side where OC would be able to go, yeah, it's about here, and there's a stairway leading up to that particular location. Are we going up there, or are we continuing forward?
I mean, we're here.
I like the way you think. And she'll head up.
Okay. You find yourself in a workshop. Very interesting curios all around. It's clear that for most of the items in this room, the workshop was a sort of a interesting combination of woodwork and small pieces of metal, very much tinkering, very fine-tuned kinds of things. almost like a watchmaker or a clockmaker kind of a thing. All kinds of cogs and pieces of metal and pieces of, shaped like gears and, that kind of a thing. There is a small room in the back with a very heavy lock. The moment that you try it, even the door handle just doesn't move at all. And for anybody that's even remotely attuned to the ghost field, this room is resonating with some sort of spectral barrier put around it. Everything is covered in a fine dust, or not a fine dust, a thick layer of dust. And there have not been footprints or footsteps or anybody. This room hasn't been disturbed in a while. And it does have a doorway that leads out onto the same street that the tower was on and the street that you were coming down from the entrance.
Can I make a tinker check?
Okay. What are you attempting to do in this room with that tinker check?
So it's not to construct anything, but more or less to see what this room was built for. What are the things constructed in it?
Well, your skills as a tinker, and everything that you would have done in the past make it's obviously a watch or a clockmaker's.
Okay. So
right?
Nothing.
No, there are some interesting items of there are some interesting wind up mechanical toys, right? There are these very intricate plans for large scale clocks, right? Almost like a clock tower kind of a thing. So there's a fair bit of the normal paraphernalia that you would find, or the normal items that you would find in a clockmaker's workshop. And there's like small pieces in the front window where there are still glass and that hasn't been either picked through or whatever, that represent the clockmaker's work. And if you're able to look outside, if you sneak a look outside, you can see that the sign that was for the clockmaker shop is this beautiful sort of intricate piece that there was a little lever that looks like it was coming off, and it had a little like a connection to a system that if you were to turn it, it would turn and animate, and there was like a little bell that had since kind of fallen off, but you can get an idea of what it was. It was something really neat and intricate for a clockmaker's sign.
That's cool.
But all of that is really kind of in disuse now and kind of falling apart.
Such a shame. Someone here had talent.
Try opening the door, Raymond.
That one over there, the one with the big lock on it.
Mm-hmm. A tinker's hands built that lock.
Yeah, let me see what I can find around. And he's going to search around for various tools and whatnot, and I'm going to use my crit success to go away on that lock.
To find tools or on the lock itself?
So I'll roll to find tools, but basically the crit success is to...
I have lockpicks.
Oh, thank you.
Here you are.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so I'm trying to clarify. Are you searching for something, or are you attempting to open the lock?
Open the lock.
Okay, so one of your crit successes used to open the lock. All right, so you realize that the key that was designed for this was actually in two pieces, and it was used in two different ways. One was in the keyhole itself, and another was sort of inlaid on the top as an aside. These like 6 holes that are kind of in a row, and you realize that 3 of the holes have to be depressed in a very particular order as you use the ward portion in the lock, the keyhole itself. And so you, in doing this, you depress the right 3, essentially these little button holes, almost pins in a way, right? So you depress these 3 pins, and then you turn the ward pick inside the lock, and it pops. And the moment it pops, there is this almost change in air pressure for just a second as there is like a rush in of air into this particular room, as if it hasn't been opened in a really long time. OC, in seeing the complication of this, remembers that there was an entry in the book of a location towards the beginning of the Lost District where you will find the various keys that you would need stashed away in a lockbox, secured, so that anybody who enters the Lost District and using any of these to hit any of these vaults, that you would have to go to this particular if you want an easy access with these keys. You remember that these keys are this was one of the many keys that was represented in that essentially that lockbox of keys.
Did we pass by these at any point?
No, it would be in a location that is sort of off to the side from where you came in, right? It's
Okay.
a little bit farther, but it's very close to the lightning barrier. So,
Hey, Nix.
Yeah.
I'm still opening doors.
It's good to have you back, Bowerstone.
I'm keeping this lock.
you can't actually remove it from
Oh,
the door.
I want to keep this lock,
it's in,
but I can't.
right. Okay.
So that lock can't be picked.
No, it's
That lock was picked.
I can't. I
He
can't.
picked it. He can't remove it.
Oh, okay.
It's this ornate thing that's actually built into the door, and when he opens it and the door opens, you can actually see in a little bit on the backside the mechanism that locks this thing is this intricate series of bars, all controlled by essentially a master set of cogs that just either open it or close it, right? And so it's a very, very delicate piece of work. And so when you enter inside, you see a series of boxes kind of scattered around the room, and a pole arm, a speared pole arm about 7 feet tall, with a very ornate spear head there. And Nix, if you look closely, you realize that the spearhead is made out of a leviathan tooth.
Neat. Does it look like his?
No, it
What
does
is it?
not look like your blade at all, but it is a
look like?
leviathan tooth.
What does it look like?
It is just this weird sort of diamond-shaped, kind of flange thing. It's got a very wide base, and it looks incredibly intricate in the design on it. Right, there are some runes that are very tiny, and there's some flourishes of outlines on the thing, and then it tapers in and meets where the actual pole arm itself is attached to it, and there is silver that attaches it to the pole arm itself, and then there are silver like bands around certain portions where you would hold this particular pole arm. And the wood is of it's of a material, a tree material that none of you have any experience with. It faintly glows in the ghost field.
What
Would I
color?
have seen it in the book? Sorry.
Blue. It faintly glows blue. You would have seen this entry in the book. It would be one of the items that would be very definitely found in here. It's just listed as the demon spear.
The demon spear.
He looks to OC and says, "May I?"
I don't know if there's traps in here. They've been here for a very long time, and other people were in possession of this book before us. Sure. And she's going to take one step back.
I tell you what,
He walks in. And
I can
grabs
stay
it.
here. Oh,
Wait, so you do what?
Nix walks in and grabs it.
don't remove it.
He already did it. We're fucked.
And that was the end of the shroud.
Nah, just Nyx.
So you remove it, nothing happens. It feels cool in your hands. the moment that you grab onto it, you have a sudden desire to use it in the same way that you used to slice up and open the ghost field when you were 10.
He takes it and he kind of like, I assume it feels kind of lighter than like what a normal pull-on would feel like. And he
it feels the perfect weight. It doesn't feel lighter.
Okay.
It feels the perfect weight, so that when you swing it, it always feels balanced.
Okay. So he holds it in one hand and he looks out of the door and says, Raymond, come to the end of the door. I'm not actually going to kill you. Just, I want to try something.
I trust you. And he will step forward.
That
It's
was
a terrible mistake.
Thank
That was
you.
your last mistake.
And he reaches out and places the flat of the blade on his shoulder. Does Raymond scream in agony?
Oh, you're gonna fuck up my trance powder, man.
That's a possibility.
Fortune roll time.
God, you're a dick.
Oh, great.
God, you're a dick. We had him under control.
I mean, it was only going to last for a matter of time.
Fuck you.
All right.
The problem is it going to make me recoil back into the ghost field?
It's an exclusively you problem.
Ow.
Remember the words, trust me.
You're a real cunt.
I didn't say trust me. I said come here. I won't kill you.
Yeah.
All
You
right.
said I trust you.
So we're going to... Do you want Mike to roll it or me to roll it?
Fortune roll time.
Or even OC because it's her trance power.
No, actually, it's gonna be a Raymond thing. And here's the thing: as with fortune rolls, as much as I love the fact that we have so many crits to play with, fortune rolls are not subject to using crits. So you could intentionally fail this, though.
I could. But I think we'll let the dice decide it.
All right, so one for sheer luck.
Yep.
What else is going in its favor, guys? The trance powder
trance
seems like
powder?
an obvious
Yeah.
one. Anything else?
I don't know if his will to not want to go back because he was enjoying the shit going on in his head. I don't know if sheer will.
What does the table think? I don't know if I necessarily buy that because your
Because in the trance
current
powder
state of mind, your current state of mind is artificial.
What about the opposite of love for his parents?
Hatred for my parents.
He loves his parents.
I love my
Well,
parents.
them dealing with them all the time.
How does that factor into this particular role?
He doesn't want to go back. I meant by willpower.
Again, this willpower is artificial.
Okay.
All of this is artificial based on the trance powder, right? And it's based on OC's command. Now, if OC has an influence over him, I could see that being an argument in a plus. I mean, if that's a strong enough influence, it would be her will and not Bowerstone's will. Because again, this is an artificial situation for him, and I'm okay with that. I think that that's a positive. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's 3 dice in your favor right now. What
I
else?
think it's pretty... I mean, I can't really think of anything else.
Anybody else? All right. So there's going to be one negative that's definitely going to get pulled away, and that is because of the sheer unpredictability of what it is that Nyx is using to touch Bowerstone.
Thanks
and
for
with
touching
you guys, roll it.
Oh, okay.
There you
Wow.
go.
Okay. Great.
He's going to go over and pull it off of his shoulder. Let's not tempt fate.
Well, how does he react?
Shit! Ah.
Yeah. I trust you.
Well, that worked exactly as I thought it would. This does, at minimum, what yours does. And he points it towards OC.
Keep that away from him. And she's going to walk around the room and see if there's anything else in there.
Sorry, I was reading what Trindane was mentioning in the chat. There are a couple of other items. One is a book. One is another dagger. This one is metal and very ornate. It's bejeweled in its hilt. but it's essentially a very small dagger, almost like it's used ritualistically versus used for combat. To OC's trained eyes, it would not be practical.
Is it glow?
Oh yeah, it resonates in the ghost field. It
Blue?
resonates with no. It has a variety of colors that resonate off the blade, but they're all dull and ancient in their resonating power. So it hasn't been used in a really long time.
She's gonna take that and put it in her holster next to her sword.
And you find another medallion that resembles about the size of a spirit bane charm. However, it contains the symbol of one of the four princes.
She's going to hand that to Nyx and tell him to figure it out.
As someone who spent a period of years in Aruvia, which of the four?
Hold on a second. Let me look it up to make sure I get the name correct. So those are the three items that you find in the lockboxes around. Everything else, it was either papers, scrolls, or items, and they're starting to fall apart in disrepair or even neglect. None of them are maintained, so there's just various little items around there.
And just so that we can, the last thing, the book. If she goes over and looks at it, what is that? What'd that do?
It's all written in Aruvian. It's all just in Aruvian text,
Okay.
and you don't see anything resonate in the ghost field at this point.
She will. She'll look at Nyx. Do you read Aruvian?
Nyx reads Aruvian 1, like Spanish 1. Like,
Hola, me amo.
yeah. Like, he can get, like, barely conversational Aruvian. He couldn't hold a conversation with a native speaker. But he can pick out, like, every fourth word. Kind of piecemeal the sentence together.
Take a look at this. Just the title.
He can order from his favorite Aruvian restaurant.
Yeah.
So, Nyx,
Yes.
it is the demon prince Ankyart.
Oh.
He has a park named after him.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just have to make sure in my notes that I had indicated that correctly. But, that should be a clue, Or
Nyx,
not.
Do you know the title to this book?
Do I know the title of that book?
No, you do not. It is in a much... you do recognize that it's Aruvian, but it is much older, a much older version of the text, maybe what would be considered more of a proper, sort of like if you were looking at English and there's High English.
Like
or,
High Valerian kind of situation?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So...
Do you think we take this with us?
I think we take that with us. And I think that, in emotions towards your belt, would best be kept in Eden. I get the feeling it's not a dagger for what we use them for.
I understand that. It can stay with me. I kept the book safe after all.
But that wasn't with you.
Exactly. We're not at Eden.
Yeah, that's... He says, yeah, we should take it with us.
She'll hand the book to Bowerstone. Here you go. You want more responsibility on this trip? Here's a book.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
The howling begins to increase outside as you come back out of the vault.
Take
That
the
can't
book.
be good. He just throws it at it like
As we leave the vault, Nyx presses his dagger into Bowerstone's neck. No, into Steam's hand, and whispers something to him.
Wait, what? You're talking the Leviathan Tooth Dagger?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right.
so that no one else can hear.
Mm-hmm.
You're a piece of shit.
Furious typing. All right, what's the plan, guys?
Kill Nyx.
Find a way out of here.
Well, so you can follow the catacombs back, right? It's clear that there was a bunch of ways going, but the trail that Steam was following continued on eastward.
Oh.
Yeah, I figure we go back down and continue on after Chaos.
That works for me.
Okay.
How big is this catacomb?
The tunnel that you're currently walking through is like you could fit a small carriage.
Okay.
And a small goat drawing that carriage, kind of a thing. It's a pretty significant. The catacombs were definitely practical in some way, shape, or form, right? You realize that there was a bit of commerce, or there was a bit of trade goods, and kind of moved around, that kind of a thing, which would explain why there was an entrance in that vault or that downstairs area to the storeroom.
So he presses the dagger into Steam's hand and allows everyone to kind of everyone walked in front of him, and he lets Steam walk forward into the catacomb, and he lets everyone kind of go a good 10-15 paces away before he takes the polearm and begins to kind of feel it out. But he attempts to spin the thing. He's got some skill with some kinds of weapons, but he spins it, and while he's attuned, he focuses on the hole he tore in the fabric of the veil. And as he spins it, he lowers it and rips it open from bottom to top with that blade and steps through.
Wow!
Would we hear that?
I would.
You'd hear the
Yeah.
thing spinning. Yeah.
You would not hear the tearing of the ghost field.
No, would we hear you go like a helicopter?
I mean, you might.
You would. So, how many of you would actually know that Nyx is from the Dagger Isles? I believe all of you. Right?
Yeah, because you spoke.
Yeah.
He's never spoke it in front of you, but he has. I mean, he's either from the Dagger Isles or Aruvia, depending on which part you're from. But he's definitely not from here.
He has the swagger of somebody who spent time on a boat, right? That's been obvious. So it wouldn't be unexpected for you guys to see him use this spear in a way that you would expect him as if he was testing the weight of it for, spearing a fish or something. Because that would be one of the things that he would do as somebody who made his life on a boat is, spearing, fish. So that would be
Hell of a
unexpected.
seaman.
Good
That being said, slicing open the ghost field with the thing creates an incredibly large tear, which is secondary or next to your previous tear. But this is a big gaping hole. Like it's gigantic. And for a moment you see your entire flotilla. And there is a huge amount of shock on their face. But you continue to move forward in the ghost field.
Man, that sounds like a great spot to end the episode right there. Holy shit. What does it mean?
Let's keep going. There's a perfect spot that we're gonna finish on.
So he continues.
Would Oseen know of a way to get out to where we're going, through the catacombs and another entrance that we could get closer without going on the ground level?
No, you wouldn't know. Based on what you read in the journal. Based on what you know about catacombs, there's always exits into other buildings. There's even some exits to the street, kind of a thing, right? Because these would be very much like the Six Towers ones in that they were very practical, right? Trade goods were moved along it, right? There were passageways, right? So, yeah, absolutely, there are little things like that.
Okay, she would head that direction that she would know.
Well, weren't you following Steam though, and his trail of wherever Chaos was going?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
There's breadcrumbs.
Not breadcrumbs. It was definitely a trail.
Yeah, his flat white footsteps. So when he tore open the ghost field behind me, Steam wouldn't have noticed that.
I don't think you would have heard the tearing. I mean, really, your entire focus has been tracking this down. So you seem to be very focused on your task at hand.
I was thinking more along the lines of with Ghost Voice, all of a sudden there'd be how many more ghosts in the area, because if he opened a breach to his flotilla, it would be all of a sudden, holy shit, where'd the rest of these people come from?
You wouldn't hear voices, but you would definitely get the sense of salty sea air and a cold breeze coming from behind you. As you see that when you look back, Nyx is now in the ghost field.
Yeah, I would look back eventually. We would all look back eventually, I'm sure, and see that he's, whether it's right away or while we're walking.
So are you guys eventually getting to, are you following this trail? Okay. Mm-hmm. So the trail in the catacombs ends at a very obvious defined boundary that's leading upstairs, or leading up to the first floor. And there's a ramp here instead of a stairway. And this is very common from what you know about at the edge of a city. So that, carriages coming in for transport can then move into the underground so that those carriages aren't clogging up the city streets and yet can move their goods. So it is when you climb this ramp, this eventual ramp, that you find yourself at the boundaries of the Lost District in the Deathlands. And out from beyond, if you were to look over this crumbling stone wall, one of the few places in the Lost District that appears to be really experiencing the effect of like the environment and the Deathlands. You would just see this stark, sort of dead, desolate, expanse that just goes off into the darkness that is occasionally lit by far-off lightning and glowing things off in the distance. And here the howling is pretty strong, but it's behind you. It's to the west. It's back towards Dosval. And there's a light in a little building across the street from this ramp. And that's where the trail ends.
Steam goes and knocks on the door.
Hello. Yes.
Candy Graham. Hello. Can we speak to Nicholas?
He's not present right now, but you are welcome to come in, Steam.
Sure, because why not? He walks in.
Nyx follows.
Mike, what does Nicholas Prenderyn look like?
Oh shit, I don't remember. Is he in his like his Bowerbaum garb, or is he in his professor garb?
He's dressed very much like a professor. He's very well dressed.
Okay.
Except that it's all in white.
Great.
But it's of the style that Nicholas Prenderyn would choose.
Yeah. So in his professor garb, he essentially looks like any teacher from Hogwarts.
Snape.
He has like the billowy robe, and underneath he has like a pressed suit. But he fully wears the whole academic robes.
Does he have the Prince Valiant, sort of hairstyle cut that Snape has too?
No, he doesn't. He has
Mr. Steam.
Turn to page 394. No, he has like cropped hair, and he wears these robes all the time, which are now apparently in white. But he looks young. He looks like he's in his early 20s. As far as professors go, this seems ostentatiously young for a professor of any renown. But having known that his father is a Council of Six member, that kind of adds up. So yeah, that's what he looks like.
And what was his Takarosi heritage wasn't visible.
It is visible at all times, actually. His eyes are solid black.
Yep. So OC would see him and recognize him?
But not recognize him because his expression is nothing like you've ever seen on Nicholas Prenderyn's face before.
Well, given what she's seen, she expects something different. But it's the same face and, facial features and everything.
Physically, he looks exactly the same. The mannerisms definitely strike you immediately. And there's a big shit-eating grin on his face.
She'll follow behind. Seem.
What does he look like in the field?
Is he on or off the sauce?
He is off the sauce.
For how long?
Let's put it this way. Chaos has cured him of that little monstrosity.
Neat.
I'll
Okay.
give him another.
But that doesn't mean if he loses, he exits the body. Now, what was your question, Steam?
What does he look like in the field?
Flat, white.
Chaos.
Ah, I'm so glad to see you all again.
I hear you met my sister.
She did me a service. If you see her again, thank her. Before the end.
Sure. I completely believe that the foiling of your plan was all part of your plan. We need the body that you're in.
No.
What happens if you don't have that body?
I'll get another. But no.
Can we make a trade?
Oh, I plan to make a trade. But not with you.
Where's your friend? The old woman?
That was necessary for my previous incarnation.
Oh, you're evolving.
Oh, no. I've always been this way. I just was trapped. Like I said, your sister did me a service. I appreciate it.
Excellent, and we are both of like mind that she is great.
I never doubted it. But she wasn't she when she killed me. She was Esther. And Esther is gone. And your sister, whatever is left of her, is gone too, isn't she? I watched her on the train. I watched her say her tearful goodbyes. I saw you there too.
I saw you board a train many years ago with a friend of mine.
And now we come to the moment at hand. Is it time to make a deal yet, OC?
What are you offering?
Well, what are you willing to give? Your friend, yes, she was a constant companion both in life and after. I know many secrets. She knows many of mine. But I hear that she's having trouble remembering. Imagine that.
Even if you could fix her memory, she is still broken. What good is someone who remembers if they're broken?
She's not broken. She's confused. I can fix her memory. I can keep her memory away. You can have her as your plaything. You can do whatever you like. But if you want her whole, it comes at a cost.
You don't deal lightly. What are you asking?
He sits back, smiles, and says, kill them. And that's where we're going to end it.
Technically, that's impossible.
Sorry.
Also, technically, it's not Pendrin asking. It's Caius asking.
I mean, I'm going to speak for myself, but I'm like an easy target, so...
To be fair, 2 of the 3 of you are pretty easy targets for her.
I mean, I'm well equipped with the book. So that's what I got going for me.
You have a dagger. Come on now.
Oh, yeah.
So that's your devil's bargain in spades, right there.
But technically, it's Caius asking, not Penderin.
I phrased it as, when you see Nicholas Penderin, he will offer you a deal that you cannot refuse.
Okay.
That she can't refuse?
Guys, on that cliffhanger, that jaw-jobber of a cliffhanger that has everyone having some kind of feels, that's where we're going to end tonight's episode of 6 and 20. So let's go around and do our introductions of all of our friends here. We'll start with the person who's going to attempt mass murder, OC, Mr. Ninja. Who are you? What are you doing here? And what do you think of tonight?
I am Xmas Ginger Ninja. I run a gaming channel and I do streams here every once in a while. This is quite a predicament.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck.
Sweet.
That's all I got.
Great. Steam, getting new toys, getting new daggers, getting new people to kill. Technically, might have a new chance to win. Greg, who are you? What are you doing here? And what did you think of tonight's episode?
I think you should never take devil's bargains in this game. I think that is what the lesson from tonight is.
That's no fun.
It never helps. It only hurts. Whatever. Okay, yeah, no, Grimjack21502 on Twitch and Twitter. Great one tonight. I really enjoyed it. Thought it was awesome. Love the stuff with Bowerstone. Love the stuff out here in the Lost District. Like the fact that Nick's almost killed us twice, maybe 3 times, if you consider just grabbing shit. And,
what?
oh, he was a big twat tonight, but that's fine. That's cool. I mean, whatever works out.
What
but,
do you mean tonight?
I mean, tonight he almost killed all of us a bunch of times. But
For 3 seasons now.
No, it was awesome. I love playing with you guys. It was super duper fun. You can find me doing stuff on Encounter Roleplay, Call of Cthulhu, Tomb of Annihilation on Mondays, and on my own channel on Sundays from 7 to 9, doing a little Pulp Cthulhu. 1933, we get into weird occult shit and bash Nazis. It's fun. Join me then. See you next week.
Sweet deal. We'll go over to Bowerstone, who is back to his normal, awesome self. Slade, who are you? What are you doing here? And what did you think of tonight?
Yeah, so it was fun to actually play a little bit toned down a wee bit Bowerstone after things were escalating, so I had fun with that. But yeah, I'm Slade. I am a streamer and game master on the Crit Dice Gaming channel. I played Raymond Bowerstone. I'm saying that in advance to what's going to happen next week. But yeah, you can catch me on Mondays, 8 p.m. Doing D&D campaigns, and tomorrow on ERP for the first time, so lots of fun.
Congrats, man. And last but definitely least, Johnny, you run things here, several other channels. Who are you? What are you doing here? Why did you do this to us? And what did you think tonight?
I will answer them in all of that order. My name is Johnny. I am the GM for 6 and 20. 6 and 20 is this little thing that we do every week on 3 channels. On my channel on Tuesday nights, where the Void just had a phenomenal Shroud-like evening last night. I'll get the video up for you guys to see. Tonight we do it here, where I get to mess with OC and Steam and try to pit them against each other all night long. Man, I've been working on that since 5 o'clock, guys, my time. You guys are going to fight. And then on Thursday nights, we do it over on Not So Speed Runs at the same time. Hopefully, we will be able to do it. There's a excuse me, a potential gating factor in that the story can't advance if one player is not there, and that one player may not be there. So please check Twitter and Twitch and keep an eye out as to whether we're actually going to be able to play tomorrow night. What did I think of tonight? Or why did I do this to you guys, and what did I think of tonight? I'm going to say something first and foremost. I want to be very clear about this because I don't want the thought process to be that I'm pulling away player agency from OC. The whole make her an offer that she can't refuse is totally in the vein of the Godfather kind of. There's a bit of sacrifice if she decides not to do this. But at the same time, it seems like a pretty fucking great offer. So I want OC to struggle with that just for a moment before she ultimately decides to kill Chaos.
There's no struggle.
Chaos? You think I'm gonna kill Chaos? That's cute.
There's no struggle.
Oh, are we really going to see me kill Steve? I can't wait to hear the conversation for the week.
Steam and the peasants.
But so yeah, I thought that you guys did amazing tonight. Another night of oh shit, crazy RP, and then the look on your faces every time something new and interesting came up was great. So you guys did phenomenal tonight. Thank you.
Yeah, so that was that, guys. Definitely tune in tomorrow. We are going to be running some Havoc in the Hinterlands. We skipped last week because I had to work for 13 fucking hours. It was awful. But we'll be back with new, fun, crazy stories for the encounter for those guys over there in my homebrew world of Timberell. We'll be back on Friday, probably some video games, and definitely Saturday, we're doing a 12-hour stream. Guys, mark your calendars, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern Time on Saturday. Ginge will be here. VideostoreCowboy will be here. We have some Blades in the Dark. We have some Tales from the Loop. We have some D&D. We have some Dungeon World. Definitely come out and hang out. At a minimum, come hang out. At a maximum, donate, because all the money generated that day goes towards charity. Currently, we're sitting at over $2,000. Our goal was to hit $3,000. This is the last month to do so. And it's all thanks to you guys that we've been able to donate all this money to Extra Life charity for kids. Essentially, it helps sick kids in hospitals get better equipment, toys, funds, games to do while they're stuck in overnight stays and long-term stays in hospitals. So we get to share our hobby with you guys, and we get to share your money with young kids that are trapped in hospitals forever. It's awful, but we get to do it. So with that, guys, we're going to get the hell out of here, and we're going to go host our friends over at Save or Dice, who are currently getting DM'd by Will from Encounter Roleplay. So definitely go check those guys out, and when you do so, pop that raid command in there, and let them know where you came from. And from all of us to you guys, bye-bye.